Fly me to the moon, let me play amongst the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. That's my awesome.
All on his
Why
own.
did you join in, Sonya?
Oh, no.
And she's the
Join
singer.
in?
I enjoyed that so much.
That was actually very nice.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
No, it was very, very
Not
nice.
I'll
saying
be here
it
every
wasn't.
Thursday. I'll be
I'm
here
not
every
saying
Thursday.
it wasn't. He
Try the
came
deal.
in here expecting that I was going to do it, and that's why.
He said that on the phone that
Yeah.
you were going to do it. So
Of course. See?
Absolutely,
See
I
how the
did.
tables turned?
You'll do the song at the end of the show.
Sure.
There's no song at the end of the show.
Perfect.
Song
I'll
and
do
the
that
dance.
one. I'll
And
do
the
that one.
dance.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Construction
Thank
Life.
you so much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
No, this
Thank
is going
you
to
so
be
much
good.
for
I'm so
having us.
glad that you reached out, and then we've got a mutual friend, I guess, the Brother Bears.
Brother Bears, yeah,
Yeah.
they started working with us, and we're working together, and they're awesome. And they told me about the show, and I said I got to get on here.
How did that conversation come about? Like, how do you?
Honestly, I think I just seen it on Instagram,
Okay.
and
Well,
then I
they-
asked him. Yeah.
They were following me.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
we're,
right.
Yeah, we're
That's right.
extremely busy with our projects, and we were having to make a decision with the painting because everything that we have is in-house. And I said, well, listen, there's this company. I've been watching their work. They follow me. Why don't you reach out to them, see what they're about? Once Marco saw their social, he kind of saw that they do their social like we do, and he called out to them, and we did our first project just recently.
With
Sulfur.
them, yeah, with them, and they're working on the second one already. They've been awesome.
Yeah, they're
Prove
awesome.
themselves and works all good, and you guys get
Absolutely,
along.
absolutely.
Great
we
crew.
we share like a mutual understanding of how the business should go, and I think they talked a lot about that on their when they were on here, and
Yep.
and yeah, we just meshed right away. They're very professional, quick, and when they say they're going to do something, they do it. You know, with Zone Home, we have a mixture of in-house trades. Like we have in-house painters, but we're like Sonya said, we're so busy.
slammed.
We're really starting to try to incorporate, certified trades or zone approved, or we call it kind of trades. And it's hard to find, but there's a lot more now than what I find there was in like 5-6 years ago. I don't know why that is, but
That's the beauty of
Maybe
being
it's
a
just lucky.
construction business owner, right?
yeah.
So I might have mentioned this to you on the phone, where I think it's the first time I'm having a GC and a designer on the same time from the same. You guys
Company.
work together, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Exclusively, or
Exclusively.
Exclusively. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for how long you guys been doing that now?
3 years.
3 or 4 years, something like that. I reached out to her. I seen her stuff online, and obviously when we were getting busier, I'm not an interior designer. I'm an architectural designer, but I'm a hands-on guy. I started on the tools, worked with my dad, the whole story. I've been doing this. I've never done anything else. And when it got to the point where we started to escalate, it was getting really hard for me to like pretend to be the interior designer. Most of the clients kind of know what they want, but I seen Sonya's stuff. I reached out to her, and it was like Batman and Robin right away. Like she came in and the jobs went from like looking okay, nice, quality is the same, but now they're like,
Was it a relief, like for the clients that you were presenting stuff? Was it a relief that you didn't have to wear that hat anymore?
It was. Like
Yeah.
when Marco first approached me, I had gone through a really bad project
oh yeah,
with
That never happens in construction.
no, God
This
no.
was a
And
really
us
bad
as
one.
designers are the least protected in the industry.
Bad on the scope of clients?
Just no, it was a contractor.
A contractor story, okay.
And it went very, very, very bad. He's known for doing this.
And his name is...
Yeah.
I get it, I understand.
And
for
so
legal
when,
reasons we can't.
Yeah. So when Marco called me, I'm like, great. I already had worked with quite a few other companies that I've already built a relationship with. So at this point, I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. And it was actually my husband that was like, just meet up with him, see what he has to say. Because it did, that last project really left a sour taste in my mouth. It really did.
Does. And to anybody
It
in
does.
construction, when something happens like that, it just leaves
Yeah. So I sat with him, I talked to him, I got to feel him out, and he's identical to me. Hardworking, really puts 100% into all the projects. A family man, family time is important. And to me, that's important. I want somebody that's going to respect that I do have a family. I work 24/7. You can ask him. I'm getting text messages
It's
at
hard
11
not to.
o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Did you guys know that you were going to click before you started a job?
Our conversation on the phone went really smoothly, right? Like it
went really smooth.
well.
I mean, we never really talked about this, but I would say that I was a little nervous for it opened my eyes to something. So essentially, you know, we had a different clientele back then, and now we have a different clientele. And I'm not going to say one's a better class of clientele. I'm not going to say that. But what I'm going to say is that it did bring in a different type of project, bigger projects, projects where the clients are looking for the tag team, right?
And all-inclusive.
You know, there's like, do you have a designer? I was starting to get that more and more now. You know, when I started back when I was 19, things were different, obviously, right?
Aren't clients these days throwing the Pinterest and the house boards at you guys?
They are, and that's where Marco and I have also become pretty selective, right? As far as accepting clients as well, because we have the right, as all business owners as well, to kind of know the clients that really are pretending that they want your help, but they don't because they're watching HGTV.
What's hard
Do you
to
know
work
what I
with
mean?
those?
Where they're, and it's...
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
right?
this is like, you got to give me a slight break because I got to do a shout out and just like,
Sure.
I normally do shout outs in the beginning. So I'm wearing Brian's t-shirt. So Brian, Target Contracting, he's a plumber. He's been on the show before. Check out the TCL link tree for many great and exclusive offers from Black Ladder, Box Gobbler, Bunky Life, Zepp's Gear, and Mud Mixer. And many more offers being added to the tree each week. And don't forget to check out our own TCL shop where you can get official TCL tees, hoodies, caps, espresso cups, and more. It's great being a TCL listener. Hey guys, the building show is coming up in Toronto, November 29th to December 1st. Do you want to go for free? Use the promo code TCL Expo and you'll get a free pass to go to the show. See you guys there. I'll be there. Find serious equipment and serious buyers at the National Heavy Equipment Show taking place April 11th and 12th at the International Centre. Be part of Canada's largest heavy equipment show with a massive display of equipment and services. Put yourself in front of thousands of professionals from the nation's biggest industries such as road building, infrastructure, landscaping, snow removal, and beyond. Bring along interactive demos or take part in the gravel pit, a whole building full of aggregate, crushing, and screening equipment. The National Heavy Equipment Show, April 11th and 12th. Contact a member of the show team today to reserve your spot. Find it on Facebook or online at the nhes.ca for details. So I just wanted to do a shout out. And then I got to shout out your deets. And we're obviously going to talk about this whole construction industry through the perspective of a GC and a designer working together. Awesome. So this is going to be a very interesting conversation. And then you brought up the 4-letter word, which is great for me because I enjoy talking about HGTV in such a negative way. Marco Manazzone, right?
Yes.
Manazzone. Yes, and then Sonya Gilmour is here, and it's Zone with 2 Z, Zone Homes Inc.
Yep.
And it's zonehomes.ca, and the phone number is 905-906-9152. And now their emails are marco@zonehomes.ca, and then Sonya's is victoriasonya@yahoo.ca.
Yep.
Now the Instagrams, you got Sonya's _Gilmour_DTPD, and then you got Marco's, which is Zone Homes Inc. on IG, and then Facebook you can find them at Zone Homes Inc. That's all of it, right?
That's pretty much it. You find everything there.
How old? Okay, so that was 3 years ago, but Zone Homes is not 3 years old.
No. It's
how old is Zone Homes?
Almost 21 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really did it right out of high school. I mean, I used to work with my dad. My dad worked at the fast school.
What was his trade?
His trade, he was a carpenter. Yeah, he was in steel, but he was a carpenter, so he's
DeWalt.
Yeah.
I like choosing. Is he DeWalt?
Yeah, if he uses
majority.
He uses whatever.
He uses whatever.
Yeah, he's old school, man.
What are you?
He's
Marco?
70 now. Just turned 70.
He's 70.
Yeah.
Is he still swinging the hammer?
He works with us. It doesn't work with us. He comes to the job sites and
he shows up when he wants and he leaves when he wants.
Yeah, causes problems and then he takes off.
But he probably brings the coffee. No.
He brings a coffee. He brings a coffee, spaghetti, whatever was left over from dinner the night before. But he...
good old days.
Yeah, yeah. My dad and I are very, very close, and I owe a lot of everything that...
you learned everything from him?
Yeah, but then it kind of evolved, right? Because the things they used to do were a little bit different, right? Like he was working at the fast school, but he was always hands-on, always doing something. And since I was a kid, I was his right-hand man. Hopefully my son's going to do the same.
Okay.
But
I want to say something that I haven't said.
Yeah.
As much as we get a lot of respect for the older generation, the old dogs in the industry that are still in the industry.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd be able to cut it if they started in today.
No.
For a variety of reasons.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Number one being the criticism.
Yes.
The older generation, like if you try to criticize anything of their work, it's not going to go well. Like you'll
be
end
in
up
with a shovel with a dent on the back of his face.
You'd be in handcuffs.
It's just
You'd
gonna
be in
happen.
jail. the amount of pride, where we've become now a society where we have to be able to accept constructive criticism, whether or not it's right, whether it's not right. We have to patrol what we say, how we say it.
Absolutely.
You know, we have to swallow a lot more than what our parents were. Like you said, if it was my dad,
they were not good communicators.
No, they weren't.
They learned to become good communicators.
Good yellers.
Mm-hmm.
They're good yellers, but they communicated in different ways. They communicated with, they wouldn't razz you anymore in the end of the day if they liked you.
Right.
Yeah.
But to let somebody today to go 8 hours with all this razzing going on, and then by the end of the day they like you and they're like, listen, come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd be able to survive that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
or just even somebody walking into a job site and being like, over their shoulder. You honestly, I know my father.
never happen.
Oh, my father would never allow that. He'd be like, here you go. You do it then.
Yeah.
You do it.
I'll say
right?
this though. I mean, they got stuff done.
Oh,
Yes.
they did.
And in a
When they
different
worked,
way.
they worked.
Yeah, when they worked, they worked. And I would say I was very lucky that I was able to grow up with those guys, but then transition to these guys. And there was like a year or two there where I was too hard on the guys, different personalities, and I had to change. I had to, that show about egos I mentioned to you that I really liked. That ego is really important in construction because in order to grow a company, you have to be able to go away from your, vision sometimes and change and modify
It's
things.
never personal.
It's never personal.
99.9% of the time.
Oh yeah,
it's not
sometimes.
personal, right?
But that work ethic, you can't compare.
See, that's what I was just going to
Yeah.
say is that as much as I just said, I don't think they'd survive today if they were getting started in construction. I think, though, I would still choose to be educated or mentored by them
Absolutely.
sure.
than today's generation of GCs.
Absolutely, yeah. Because experience will teach you how to do it, but the mindset,
Yes.
the get her done mindset, that's got
Yes.
nothing to do with the skills. I think it's got something. There's two things. You have to be a certain type of person to be able to take it and fight through it. And they've been through more, right? Like most of those old guys you're talking about, like my dad came here from Italy with nothing in his pocket, the whole same old story. That kind of molds you of who you are. And it's like, doesn't matter what happens, we'll get through it type of mentality. Where today, I'm not going to paint everybody with the same brush because I don't want to be that guy that says everybody today is way different than before. But we had it easy. I had it easy-ish. You know what I mean?
Well, they made it easy for everybody.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I mean.
That whole
Yeah.
immigrant story is still going on, though.
Yeah.
The only difference is not European.
That's true. That's
You're
absolutely
getting a lot of
true.
Middle Eastern. You're
Yeah.
getting a lot of UK Irish. Like you're getting a lot of those people coming
Yeah.
over here,
Yeah,
and they have that hunger. They have that work
and
ethic.
the sense
agree.
of pride, and
Pride.
they have every right to have it. Like all of our parents, I'm sure the three of us can relate. Like my parents also, my dad moved here with not even a job first to try to stabilize something in order for my mom to come over, right? But the amount of pride that it took them to know that they came here with absolutely nothing.
Did he go right into construction?
My dad, believe it or not, was never in construction.
Wow.
Never.
No cement?
No,
I
no,
knew
no,
that.
no.
I had
He
to
was a
throw it in.
butcher. So if you needed to
That's
hide a
important
body,
too.
yeah, if you know.
I know a couple
no.
butchers on the construction site.
No, believe it or not, he was one of the ones, the rest of my family, yeah, But no, he wasn't. I didn't take after him in that sense, where for me, I was always very artistic. So it's, maybe the way he was cutting his meat was artistic. I never really saw a pig go down, but, you never know. But yeah, it's just, all my uncles and cousins, the majority of them were in construction, right? So
It's always it's an interesting family dynamic when you got together back. I remember being younger, you would have all the friends, all the different trades, and it was just like they were a certain kind of person.
they
It
were.
was just really simple. But I wouldn't say it doesn't exist today. I think it's just a different version of it today. And I think we're expanding because Canada is such a multicultural country.
Yeah,
What I'm concerned about is the homegrown talent. They're not interested in construction at all.
You said it.
That's the difference. Like that's been discussed on the show so many times, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to get into too much about that, but
Yeah.
that's just, I think they're missing opportunities. I think there's a lot of money to be made in this business if you're doing it right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I think it's just the same as any industry, right? The problem is that they're still stuck on the social media train and thinking that they're going to be the next influencer and they're going to make 6 figures and 7 figures. And then,
Well, you know what? I got an interesting perspective in the fact that I think now I'm starting to see a lot of business students and people that don't have any experience in construction coming in. Well, not I don't know if
are they coming in with a temporary mindset though?
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm seeing that wave where it's like, no, I don't have any background in construction, but I know there's money to be made here, which is kind of good for the industry.
Well, I don't like the second statement. I like the first statement because now you're a sponge and I can teach you.
Yeah.
But if you can't handle the workload, then we're not going to get along.
Yeah, right? Sure. Yeah, I'm just saying that it's like I'm seeing more of that where before you didn't, right? It was like you were in construction or you started a construction company because your family and there was a background and a generational thing. But there is money to be made, and that's what my point was. Yeah.
Are you seeing it because they're watching the feed?
Yeah.
And you're getting certain people saying you could be 17 years old.
Great point.
And making $30 an hour.
And flipping homes and right.
Well, I read recently there was those group of kids that bought a school.
Yeah.
They haggled it for down to like $106,000. They bought the whole school and then they
converted it into condo
units.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, great idea.
And I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. That was done before pandemic.
Oh, really?
And I was like, it was they couldn't afford a home, so they pooled together, bought this school, and then they converted each of the classrooms into dwellings, and then they left the gym as the gym rec area.
Some serious permits on that one.
Smart, but it's smart. Like, I mean, these are structures that you could do this. It actually works really well. That's just kids being, that's where they have the advantage. And I don't think that the old dogs would ever think that way today.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to go down that path,
definitely. And I think that's true, right? But I think it goes down to mindset where a lot of the old dogs just want to work. You know what I mean? It depends. If you're talking GCs, there was a lot more of the people that wanted to just work. Tell me what to do. I'll dig this hole faster and better than anybody else.
Is there more planning than working in construction today?
Today, yes. It's all planning.
You have to.
It's all planning. I mean, this whole business, we're able to do so many projects with
because of planning
and the structure that we use. And I spend more time on putting together systems than anything else.
And communicating with our clients.
You know what? There's one thing that I was thinking about driving down here. It's like construction, there comes a certain point when you get to a level where it's the doing should be just there. Obviously, if you hire somebody to do a main floor renovation, it should just be there that you're going to do it right. But it's the process and the service that you're selling. That's what we got to compare companies with, right? Unfortunately, you are going to get the company that comes in that doesn't know what they're doing. I think,
but they're great at sales.
But they're great at sales.
I used to think 50-50. I used to think that it was 50 construction, swinging the hammer, 50 the business side of things, right? And building relationships. I think I'm skewing more now to 60-40 on the business side. I think that if you have the right team, the work is easy. Like, there's nothing better than getting on a job site and seeing professional tradespeople do their work. Mm-hmm. It's magical. Like, even me, like when I'm there and I know a few things and I see it and the way they work and how efficient they are, and I pay attention to all trades, right? And I just look at how they dissect and work the project and do the scope. It's magic to me. So that's a given. That's done. The problem is that you should spend that same effort on the business side.
On the business side, yeah. The service.
Consciously.
Mm-hmm. And Zone Homes, I mean, just to kind of talk a little bit about us, is exactly like that. The doing was a given. You had to know how to do your job.
Where the holes were.
The holes were in the industry, right?
Yeah.
And I think 10 years ago, the service sucked, and it was all communication. When you were doing a bathroom rental, and that's a small job, but look how many things: plumbing, electrical, tile, everything, how the tile ties in. That magician that ties in, like you said, it's magical. That site super project manager, and shout out to my guys. I mean, we're like family.
Yeah.
Dan, Tony, Mitch, they're my we're family. We're a unit. Without them, Mitch.
He's not Italian.
But neither's Tony. Tony's Croatian. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And Dan's Scottish. Yeah.
Okay, I could believe that.
Yeah, with no Italians, right? So I mean, there's one Italian's enough for the crew. But shout out to them. Like, our growth from 6 guys to 10 guys to our network's over 60 now. You know, not just in-house, but our whole network. And you have to surround yourself with good people. And that ego thing, and that's where I kind of go full circle. Yeah. When I was listening to that on the treadmill there, I'm like, you know what? I did have an ego when I was young. I had a bad ego. I thought I was the best at everything. And then I started working with guys that were specific to something. I was a jack of all trades, and I wanted to be the master of all. But
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. And I had to get to a point where I had to learn how to do business. And I put all that same effort that I put into learning all these different trades into business. And that's when things clicked.
Things changed.
And I surrounded myself with awesome people. And we're a team. It's not
you
my
saw
team.
where the faults of you
Yeah,
were.
absolutely.
And you filled those.
Absolutely.
And it's even preparing, like Marco and I, even aside from the clients, even when we have a meeting, I'll sit there and I'll turn to Marco. They're going to doubt that tile. And he's like, no, you saw them. They were and I could sense it. We're already doing damage control behind the scenes. Like we really are. Even if something in order for it to run so properly, especially during COVID, with getting products was a bloody nightmare. The amount I was having to redesign the same space 3 to 4 times, because by the time even somebody had told me that they had the tile, it wouldn't even show up to the job site. It became magically unavailable,
Everybody went through it, right? It was,
and Marco and I were already behind the scenes being like, okay, this tile's not in stock. I'm not going to tell the client yet. We don't want them stressing out. This is why they hired us, is we're a full service renovation company. They don't want to worry about this crap. Let's find something that's almost identical that we could already bring forth to them and say, the one that you fell in love with is not available. Here's your second option. Yeah. We're trying to make the process smoother for us, because the happier the clients are, the better our projects are going.
Yeah, what goes hand in hand with what we were saying, to build a company that, that bathroom we were talking about, to kind of finish on that topic, is the fact that you would hire a company and then this guy says, go get your own material. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know what I need. And you'll lose jobs that way. And we're finding that, in a nutshell, clientele now, because of HGTV and Pinterest and all the things that you mentioned, their expectations, and the first full circle here on the older generation, that whole package, that didn't exist 10 years ago. There was
the options.
The options. There's so many options.
But the problem is that they've created, all those platforms have created, there's never a realistic dollar value to attach to 100%. A single image.
No,
100%.
and sadly, as a designer, I'm going to tell you right now,
you're the one that has to deliver the bad news.
It's not only that.
No, she makes me do that.
I do not.
You guys, as a
team,
to deliver the bad
but
news.
just in our
She
job
picks the big
description
stuff.
already, designer. The minute they meet with me, they're just like, great, she's going to find $3,000 light fixtures. She's a designer, right? They're not looking at me as if initially, until they get to know me, and then they start, ask Marco, they're almost shocked. They're just like, wow, like she's all about budget. They'll send me images of something and I'll say, no, that's way too pricey. Give me a few minutes. I will find the best quality for cheapest. Even when we sat down, and I have developed some beautiful relationships with other companies in the industry where it's that typical old fashioned, where it's, I feed you, you feed me, right? Let's work together as a team. I don't go in there with my nose in the air being like, well, I'm a designer. No, it's not. I have clients coming in. I transfer my whole discount, because what a lot of people don't know is that if I bring somebody into a store, the designer gets paid because really I'm doing their job.
Yeah.
I transfer it all. It's only making our projects look that much better. And they are paying me my hourly rate. Why wouldn't I want them to have a better quality couch, a nicer light fixture? It's all those jewelry pieces that are making our renovation look magazine worthy, which is what they want. That's what they want on a budget.
Clients want, and I disagree with it. I don't want a magazine worthy, Pinterest, house, social media worthy renovation. I want a functional, working, proper to my interests.
They still want
renovation.
that.
Yeah.
But we live in a world where it's all
Jones is showing off.
Yeah. It's all about, and just them even being proud of that space, right? And
But
we
use it.
live
it, work it, abuse it, get it worn and torn, so then we can come back and fix it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, to be honest, all our renovations, if you look at it, they've got the nice, bells and whistles, and, they look stunning, but it's all about functionality. We're not that type of team that is just where it's going to look like the Taj Mahal, where you walk in, you're not going to want to sit anywhere.
I'll go to a museum if I want to go to a museum, right?
No, we are working with our clients' interests, but at the same time, we're also, I try to push them out of their comfort a little bit. And the way we even do
that, though?
She does it pretty good.
I do it pretty good. I do it pretty good.
And that's what I was worried about. Remember when at the beginning of this, you're like, when you called Sonya, what did you think was going to happen? Yeah. My biggest worry, and I don't think I finished that, my biggest worry was how the clients were going to act, because I was so used to dealing with the client like yourself that was just functional, make it really good quality. The look wasn't as important, like 10% look, 90% quality. Now with all the Pinterest and all the pictures, it's balancing it out. And I'm getting clients that come to me now. In the last 2 years alone, I've got calls, that initial call where it's like, do you work with a designer? I never used to get that. In fact, back then, if you were working with a designer, I would lose jobs because they thought we were too expensive. Mm-hmm. So there was a transition there that happened in the market, and we were just lucky at the same time to get together. And now, why wouldn't you work with us? Transferring the discounts, that's something that some business owners that are probably listening and why would they do that? Because a lot of designers make the money on that. That's their connection, right? Yeah. We decided to do that because, first of all, we want to keep getting bigger. We want 60 to turn into 70. That's our whole point. We want to work on production. We want to give quality. We want to give the magazine and the function for an affordable price. The only way to do that is to follow the model of production, right? You're not going to get rich on every job, but you could do okay if you're doing a bunch of jobs.
Well, there's different levels of worth.
For sure.
So I've always said, and there was a lot of projects in my early days that I did because I just wanted to be challenged and I wanted to push certain things. Yeah. So you may not have earned the money attached to that, but you earned the lesson attached to that and take it to the next project.
And the visibility, for people to see your work.
And you're inspiring other people to try it out and they go, well, he tried it, it worked, it went from there.
The first 10 years is lessons. I didn't make
That's
any
all
money.
It is. No,
I think I owed the government $150,000. That's just how it is. That's all done with. I paid you.
No, but he'll laugh. Like, we'll have a meeting and he will kind of just look at me confused and be like, how did you get them to do a pattern floor? But what Marco and I also do differently is we actually...
Don't miss out on huge savings. Visit goiguide.com/shop and use promo code TCL Podcast to get deep discounts on an iGuide system. Everyone loves swag and I love giving it away. So if you're listening and you're interested in learning more about iGuide, shoot me an email, rjohnston@planetar.com, or a message on LinkedIn and I'll send you free swag just for saying hello. I've got free t-shirts and toques and I can't wait to give them away. I've also got special offers for TCL listeners, so it's worth your time to reach out.
Do the renders together in front of the clients.
Yeah.
They're actually visualizing and seeing their vision come to life. So you could tell me till I'm blue in the face, pattern floor is going to look great. Oh, is it? Show me.
They can't visualize
exactly. And the minute they're like, wow, that looks so good. And he's like, I don't know how you do it, man. Like, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, it's a worry, right? Because you'll get like a 6-year-old couple and Sonya's like showing them like really modern design. And I'm like, this is something I would never do. They're going to look at it.
And they're buying into it?
They're buying into it. But the reason they are, and it's that collaboration. We are very unique in this sense. When I was younger, when I first started to kind of get traction, there was a software out there called Punch Design. I don't think they're around anymore. Okay. And I remember my dad, he was my biggest fan, the wind in my sails, as you would say. And we would try everything. We wanted to be the home renovation company, the place that you called if you need a home renovation. So I said, Pa, this 3D design stuff is really taken off. And back then, the software wasn't good. But I bought it, and I sat day and night, and I learned how to use this software. At the same time, a company called Chief Architect was joining the crew of products. And
are they still around?
Yeah.
Chief Architect. I use them religiously.
I remember seeing them early in my career.
Yeah. Yep. I became an expert at design, expert at using the product, right? So essentially, I can design a whole house in front of the client. So we have a TV set up. Sonya's there. We have the showroom with the model. So we take a process that used to take us 2 months of back and
I
forth.
know, but he's old school and he's not understanding that. Like you telling him
Yeah.
3D, he's probably thinking bra size. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't
Oh,
get
yeah,
it.
he was against it. He's like, just
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
work. Just I'm like, no, Dad, people have to see it.
Yeah.
Luckily, that's exactly where it came out. And
But that's where you have to go. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's a give and take. I
Yeah.
think both generations bring value, but then they also bring some negativity attached to it too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everything was wrong until it was right. Then it was his idea.
Yeah, that's how.
That's
it
the
works.
truth.
I know. I don't know if it's you guys, or if you guys implement this, but the majority of the industry is like this, where you schedule a site visit to come on the site and discuss things with the client. You're paid for your time, but you schedule a site visit to come on the site to speak to the clients. Your time is not paid.
We've actually switched it. I don't go to.
I don't know a single GC that bills for a site visit that's out of scope.
So I'm gonna have to field this one. It depends on the project. So with our company, in order to grow, we do smaller projects and we do larger projects.
Okay.
From full home remodels, additions, right down to if we get called for a powder room, we do it, which is pretty rare because a lot of guys are like, it's
not
too
gonna
small
waste
for
my
me.
time.
But my goal was to
You know how
hire.
much design you can do in a powder room?
I know she loves it.
Yeah, I know.
So you're absolutely right. You can't charge for especially the smaller jobs. There's no budget in it, and it'll scare the client away.
But are
and I'll
both,
lose
so
every
the
time.
designer and the GC are not charging for a site visit for a small job?
I'm not on the site visits. He's kind of
initial.
weaning.
She's not on the initial.
He's kind of weaning them out. And to be honest, we're already weaning them out just by feeling them out prior to the site visit.
Yeah,
you
know,
can kind
know
of
your
feel,
audience. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll go. It all depends, right? So I made some changes when we started getting busier because I'm only one guy and everybody wants to talk to me first, right? So essentially what I did is I set up a call. And during that call, I'll spend an hour on the phone talking about it. I tell them to send some pictures in. And that has been working, not with the older generation, but they are starting to turn. Because I do take the time to make them understand. It's like, you know what, anybody can come with an iPad, walk around for 10 minutes. There's so much involved. So I explain to them more on our process. Our process is our bread and butter. That in showroom design consultation where we can draw your space and design it in 2 hours and show you exactly what it's going to cost and modify that cost. Yeah. So we're not only designing your space and what it's going to look like, but we're also designing your budget. So I can't tell you how much it's going to cost. I've done bathrooms for $20,000. I've done bathrooms for, we're doing one now, it's $80,000, $90,000.
No project has a set price.
The
That's
same
No.
thing, right?
construction,
So knowing your audience, no, I don't go to every job though. I'll go to the jobs that,
But
you know,
industry standards, though, the designers will always charge for a site visit. The GCs will never charge.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
But Sonya will get involved when we already have a design contract in agreement already, right?
They've already agreed
They've
to
already
go
agreed,
forth
yeah.
with the
But
renovation.
you have a list of how many, I guess, hours of shopping that are attached.
No, so the way Marco and I have done it is he, out of pocket, includes me in 2 of the meetings.
Well, the client plays.
Yeah, the
Not my-
client,
you're
no, out of
budgeting it.
out
I'm
of the
budgeting
budget,
for a
yes,
couple meetings,
yeah, that's
right?
what I mean. So out of the budget, in those 2 meetings, sometimes it's consolidated into one, depending. Like if we're doing a whole main level, we're in the office, we've already been there for 2 hours. We're like, let's just get this wrapped up. Let's get this. Let's solidify everything now. All our selections. Anything above and beyond that they need, which is purchasing light fixtures, that we're actually selecting the tiles already on site with those meetings because I am nonstop on the road looking for new and upcoming stuff, newer trends, older trends
Yes,
that are coming back,
full-time job, yeah.
full-time job shopping as it is. But what I'm doing, and people don't realize, is I'm weaning out all those shopping days.
Yeah.
So by the time we're done our meeting, we've already selected countertops, hardware, tiles. If they need my services above and beyond that, which is light fixtures,
Yeah.
furniture, all of that kind of stuff, then is when I start docking their hours.
Yeah,
right?
but that makes
Like
sense because that's not technically construction.
Right.
Correct. So hard
Right.
materials like
Right. Yeah.
tile, flooring, wall
All
color.
of that
Light
kind of
fixtures
stuff.
is a gray area.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
it would-
But even though
yeah.
if some couples, what we've started to notice are just like, no, we don't mind buying our own mirror and light. I'm still being the project manager behind the scenes. Marco and I are talking, like even when was it? Morrison, just the other day, Project Morrison, how
Yep.
the wrong tile showed up to the site. And, you know, it's the boys communicating with me. It's us with our group chat.
She's included in the project
I'm included in the
management of the
project beginning to end.
materials. Yeah.
But as far as physically going shopping, it's whether or not the client wants it. And I'm going to be honest, you would be shocked. You would think the older generation would just be like, no, it's going to be. They're the ones that are just like, yeah, please pick out my light fixture. Please pick out my
it
mirror.
never used to be like that.
It
And that's
never
what
used
scared
to be like
me.
that.
I'm like, oh my God, if I do it this way, I'm all in. Am I going to lose a whole
it's
circle
gained
of
quite a bit of
It's
clientele.
gained. It's actually worked
Does
in the
every
reverse.
client come to you guys already with a list of suggestions?
Yeah, on majority, some I would say.
Anybody show up blank slate? Really up to you?
To be honest,
we've had quite a few
most
of
blanks.
those.
When they know that most of our clients are word of mouth and they've looked us up online, and I think we do a good job of explaining who we are. And a lot of people do the research now; it's all out there.
And they're looking at our
They're not going to
social-
come to us knowing how we do things with too many suggestions anymore.
They're verifying. That's all
Yeah.
it is. By the time they're speaking to them,
Before they
Yeah.
know Sonya is the designer. Are they going to come to Sonya with a whole list of things that they want? No, what they do want, they kind of keep that in their back pocket. They want to hear what
want to
Sonya
hear
has
what
to
I
say.
have to say.
And all of
Like-
a sudden that list goes from 100 things to 200. And then sometimes they'll even say, we become friends with our clients.
We
Like,
do.
Very, very
We
good.
treat them like
you know,
family, and that's
we've been
important.
to dinner with our clients. And then they'll be like, you know what? And preferably rip that paper away and go like, okay, yours is way better, right?
Well,
Obviously.
and
we spent a
it's-
year thinking about this, and
Yeah.
you took 20 minutes, and oh my God, this is beautiful. Like that feature wall we did the other
but
day.
that's
Yeah.
you're a professional and they're not.
Yeah, but and
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
hilarious because sometimes we're working on the render, and he'll say well, what do you think, Sonya? And he looks at me, yeah, Sonya, what do you think? Like sarcastically, like
Yeah.
being, I just said it. But they
Make it
need
fun,
to
right?
know that the both of us are unified and on the same page in order them to feel that they're making the right decision. Only one client in all the years that we've worked together, the three, have I said to him, Marco, I love working with you. I ain't doing this one. And he kind of looked at me shocked. He
Why?
wasn't at the meeting. She
my
she
God.
knew what she wanted. She knew what she wanted. She wanted me to select everything in order for her to feel that she wants to be a designer. And she made that very clear from the get-go.
It's hard for us to give her what we're the best at. We're the best at pulling things out and showing you something that you can't see, right? But when you have too much in your mind, but you're not happy with what you chose, then why are you even bringing that to the table? It's hard to
Yeah.
explain, but it's
Did
better
you
to
still
come
do
to
the job.
He did.
You did, right?
which no, don't say
No.
Don't say
Talk
the
to
job.
me later.
No,
Because I
no.
don't know. There's so many.
Yeah, it all I'm going to say is it went exactly how I predicted.
Oh, wait a minute.
It went
I remember.
exactly how I
Yeah,
predicted.
it was a nightmare. And that was
Yeah.
and their beginning
And it's
of our
not that
relationship.
it's a bad client or you know when somebody knows what they want and they're not willing to bend on that because
But isn't
they're
that a good thing? Because now you can just deliver and then, okay, fine.
no,
Like that
I
was
knew
good
it
to-
was going to be combative. That was the
Okay.
problem,
Because
right?
she wanted your job, right? She wanted to, I guess, the
Right.
credibility of it.
Right, because some people take pride where they're like, "No, I watch these
But
these
I
shows
think
and
we're
everything."
leaving the most important thing out because we deal with clients. I think we're leaving the most important thing. The most important thing was she was rude. And that's but that was the hard thing. Because we have clients, now that I think about it, we have clients that are pretty,
They know what they want.
they know what they want,
Yeah,
and we
we're
work
there
with
to
them
work with
just
them.
fine. We work with them just fine. We'll tweak things just a little bit, sometimes change this wing of the house totally, but their idea for the kitchen was good, and we just tweaked it and added.
And at
But
the
if
end of
you-
the day, we have to give our
We
clients what they
yeah,
want.
we can
Like,
deal
this
with
is
anybody,
their-
but this client was like,
Not necessarily.
Not where it's going to jeopardize. Listen, Marco knows I would never, ever, ever staple my name to something I'm not proud of. Ever.
Well, and
I
that's
will
the other
never
thing, right?
compromise
Yeah.
on that.
I know, but that's where we have to take out our opinion because it's not our house.
Right.
yeah, that's where it's
Their
hard.
home.
Yeah, that's
No,
where
and
I've
I'm not
never
saying
always agreed with their style.
no,
their
for
choices
sure.
and things like that.
No, and there's tons of projects where their selections wouldn't be mine, but it's not my home.
Yeah.
What I mean is how things are done structurally in order to appease what they think would be functional. Where I know he knows from a stand design point, architectural point, construction point, it is not something that should ever be done. That's what I mean.
But you know you're dealing with clients that, for the most part, this is like their first major renovation, whether it's a full gut or if it's like a kitchen or
and it's a learning process.
But they've already have it in their head that every time they wake up in the morning, I really need to go here to take care of brushing my teeth. And so I'm already mentally designing.
Oh, so I guess we
space.
should mention, like, the space planning is done before Sonya comes. As Sonya deals with the materials, that's my expertise.
But the client is bringing their version.
Oh, absolutely. I
for
listen to them on
sure.
that completely. Where I'm like, I'm a firm believer. Like, I design a lot of kitchens because we do have a cabinet company, Sharp Cabinetry, and a design company, Launch, and then Sonya. There's a bunch of different.
I know of Sharp. I've spoken to Sharp before.
That's us. I own that company with Dan. I don't think they've been here, because,
no,
but we will
but
be. I think Dan will come.
I spoke. I remember speaking to him years ago.
Maybe.
It was probably on a
We've
job to
been
get a quote
around
or
for
something.
like
I can't remember.
Sharp's been 7 or 9 years, something like that. Yeah, but Sharp was designed. So Dan, my partner with Sharp, also one of my project managers. We do all our cabinets and all. So we design a lot of kitchens. But when it comes to kitchens, designing a kitchen like the triangle and stuff like that, I stay away from that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even.
Listen, there's trigger words on this show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's trigger words. There's work triangle. That's a trigger word.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think it's BS.
Big time.
Shaker panel. I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan of shaker.
Yeah.
Glass block. I can't stand. I don't understand.
We're
it.
taking some out today.
No,
on
I'm
the job.
Yeah.
Like, there's just certain trigger words, and HETV is another trigger word, right?
Okay.
It's just because it's false representation. Of the real construction industry.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
why I don't like it. I don't think
Clients,
there's a single show on HGTV that's showing what we really go through. If you guys can name one, let me know, because I haven't
You know
watched it.
what? You're absolutely right.
Tell me one
that's
show
what,
that
that's
actually
what
is
I want to see.
A real reflection of construction.
None. They're all,
They portray construction.
They portray.
I don't know of any shows.
I don't. And showing the real day to day. There was one show, and it was the something millionaire. The guy I forget his name, and I watched them all, and he was
Steven
really
Fanuca.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That guy, I can't find it.
in New
that
York, going
guy.
in there, meeting the old man,
Yeah.
where the business came from, and him coming up with new ideas, and he's talking to trades, and he's solving problems, and I'm like, yeah, that's real.
A model change of Zone Homes was based on him. Like, I read his book. I followed
met him. He's a super nice
and then
guy.
he kind of,
Yeah.
I don't see his shows anymore. I don't know.
Oh, I
why.
think he got sick of it.
I think he got sick of it, but he was a real dude.
Yeah.
I like that guy a lot. I'd love to meet him one day. He was exactly like me, on the go, going.
I think
He had the
still
cabinet
goes
shop.
out and does some of the trade shows. You probably see him at IDS.
I see
or
that. Yeah, I
JBS or
see that. But I try to
things
get
like
his
that.
shows online. But
no,
I like
I
to see
think
him
he
out.
only did 2 or 3 seasons of it. And I think he was probably done with it.
Yeah.
I
didn't
think
too
most
much.
people would be done with it.
But that's why I
because-
acquired the cabinet company, because of that show. But you're right. That show was the closest. It was real. It was real. You see him driving to the job sites, doing the thing, the problems, dealing with the clients. Everybody's different. Talk to you about that client, why he's different. Yeah, you don't see that in HGTV.
Designers that you guys know, or yourself included, and contractors that you know that watch the TV shows, that watch reno shows?
I'm sure a lot of people will make fun of me to say that I do, but I always did. Like, I watched Homes on Homes, and I know there's a lot of good and bad there. But when I was 19, that was really kind of, and I'll say it. I mean, I watched it every night when I came home. I was working on bathrooms.
I watched the first season.
I watched it,
You know?
and yeah, there was some things that were iffy. Now, if you go back, and this is a lot of the older guys that Mike Holmes this, Mike Holmes that, and they'll go back in time. But that was 15 years ago. Obviously, the products and the
It's
way
even
it was
more.
done.
I think it's
Yeah, it was a
20 plus
long
now,
time.
right?
But yeah, I watched that, and obviously Brian and stuff like that. I watch him a little bit. But again, they became more shows. Like, I liked Homes on Homes because they were doing the work.
The first season.
The first season. Then it turned into something that I wasn't interested in. But
I'm sure you've had clients come to you. I saw this on TV.
and Mike
For
Holmes does
sure.
it this way.
Yeah,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
that was
That
10
whole-
years ago.
Yeah.
For me, it's a matter of like I'm living and breathing it every day. And
Yeah.
it's not that I don't watch certain ones. I
Aren't there
do.
more design shows on TV?
There are, yeah. But to be honest, I prefer looking at renovations on social media, watching the before and afters, and those reels of how something visually from this little space is just, for me, like, like I said, I don't have a lot of time where I'm not working. The last thing I want to do when I'm at home is watch 5 hours of what I'm doing all day long, right? So it's not that I don't enjoy them. There's a lot of designers that I follow, a lot of construction, contractors, and I love seeing their work, and we all can give each other a pat on the back. We all do work differently. Yes, some, like you mentioned, don't do work the way they should. Those aren't the ones that I relate to.
I mean, I always have it on the background. Like if I'm in the
yeah.
office, I got a TV in my office.
See,
and I
here's the thing with me. When I got into construction, I never outsourced the creativity. And what I mean by that is I never looked towards TV or social media to be inspired by ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm of a generation that I appreciate someone actually singing on a song. You know what I mean? Instead of auto-tune.
Oh, yeah, me
you know
too.
What I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely, yeah.
Like nobody, you can't name, maybe Adele. You could probably name one original artist of today.
Yeah.
That their vocals sound exactly like that in real life. Everybody else is manipulated, right? So social media, Pinterest and House and everything like that, they're all filters of ideas. But why can't people go out, walk in nature and see something and be inspired to build something from that?
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
not everybody is artistic like the three of us.
And
But
so
that's not artistic.
It is in a way.
It's consumption
It
of
is.
an environment. And that's what I think a home is. And I want to ask you guys, what's the most important room for you guys, but what's the most important room for clients?
For me, in my home is a kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm a
Kitchen?
cook.
Yeah, kitchen.
I'm
for
a cook. We host all the time. For me, that is...
She never cooked for me yet.
You're a liar. Liar.
You could Uber it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uber
no,
Eats.
I'm a good cook.
What's the most important room for clients?
Kitchens is pretty much up
yeah,
there.
kitchen's up there.
To be honest, anything that they can entertain in. A lot of people, I think, since COVID has changed the way they want their flow of their home. What we started to find is they do want that entertaining space again, whether it's now an open living room kitchen where it's perfect for entertaining, or renovating their basements. A lot of people, especially new builds, were leaving those basements just unfinished.
They can't afford the renovation now.
Yeah, that too.
It's a lot more expensive now
But
than
we're
it used
starting
to be,
to see a lot of people building that extra space down there again.
apartments,
Those bars
families
or
moving in.
Airbnbs,
Tons of that.
apartments, a lot of two of our projects, families moving in together. Things are getting expensive. You're starting to
So you're
see.
splitting the dwelling? Like,
No.
Well, you know what? Well, we are like the Project King.
Yeah, that one was,
Where
yeah.
it's a complete apartment and it's quality, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, spray foam, insulation on the like. We went all out. Now it's
one building, what, different apartments? Or
well, essentially, it's a walkout basement.
Okay.
And they moved from, I think, Nova Scotia or something like that. And mom's living in the basement, kids are living upstairs. Young kid.
A lot of people
they're
are
just
starting
kind
to
of
do
condensed,
that.
right? But her thing was she went from like a 4,000 square foot house, and she's like, if I'm gonna do this, it has to be top of the line. So I'm like, okay, forget the materials. Let's talk about what goes behind the walls: insulation, heating, all of that. And then that's where she's like, okay, I need to talk to you. And that's what we did, right? But that job's like $160,000.
but that's the price of construction.
Yeah, I know. And then they think it's not, but I'm like, this is not just a basement. Like, I'm changing the whole envelope here. Put in an egress window, like tons of work, right?
But that's what I wish that these platforms would actually educate the consumers. that
Yeah.
like I know House puts the stupid price tags on certain items that you can click on and then find out where to buy that. That's their business model.
They
get
still
it.
don't know how to get there, right?
Exactly.
So they just think, we've done lots of low-bearing wall removals, and they just think that it's okay. Well, you remove the wall. They don't realize the type of construction that needs to go into making sure that everything is
Do
supported.
clients understand the lack of freedom that you're going to have in open concept store building?
Well, I'll actually, that
You'll
just,
hear the kids playing video games.
Yeah.
You'll hear the conversation.
that's
across
coming
the
up
house.
for me more so right now. I'm dealing with, even myself, I have 2 young kids at home.
If you work in the trades, maybe you're a plumber, a framer, or an electrician, you need to check out Black Ladder Workwear. Their work clothes are tough, functional, and durable, much like you might find in high-end outdoor gear, but it's designed specifically for work in the trades. They put a ton of intentional thought into their products, everything from knee pad inserts, zip-off utility pockets, and reinforced inseams. They've got it all. Visit blackladder.ca/en/TCL to learn more and take 15% off your order by using code TCL at the checkout.
Adrian and Emma, how are you? I love you guys. Jennifer, love you. They are 4. Emma just turned 4, and Adrian's turning 2 in January. So he's
they're not listening to podcasts.
No, but
construction.
They
podcast.
will one day. They're good one day.
Mine's in school. She's definitely not listening.
Not listening?
No.
But so they're young, and we have an open concept home, high ceilings. You can drop a pen and they can hear everything. So we're actually put a door, everything that was open, we're putting doors in. So a lot of clients, and I had a client today, we were at Lauren Park here in Mississauga, and they're looking to put a wall in. That was the first time
I like rooms
in the last 10 years where it's like, you want a what? So I walk in and I'm like, oh, it's nice. It's open concept already. Every job is
doors. Put some pocket doors,
all
and
of
then
a sudden
they
they
can
want to
feel
walk
open.
back.
Do a double pocket door. Put larger openings, and I like rooms. It's just I like the separation.
The separations are nice. I mean, I understand the way it was before. Like they really wanted, and still now, that open concept. The younger generations like that. I think they start to learn the things that are not so good about open concept But I think they still want, like, I don't know. That's tough.
The
I'm
majority
starting
do.
to see it, but the majority still does, right? And I love it because, I mean, we have an in-house engineer, Joe Seymour from Seymour Home Inspections. He's awesome. He was by my side since I was 19, taught me so much about structural modifications. And he's on every one of our projects. So we love load-bearing wall removal.
Because you guys know how to tackle it.
We love it. We love it. It's great.
I'd love to see a client come at you guys and say, listen, we want an open concept bedroom floor.
We haven't done that yet.
We haven't done that.
Those are the
open concept
lofts.
so much. Make all the bedrooms completely open. And it's just
You know
a
what
bunch
I
of beds.
find?
It looks like an orphanage.
What I do find with open concept, the reason they're also wanting it is back then the kitchens were so small.
Yeah.
Like one of my
They
first
were.
homes,
But that's the
I had a
work
galley. I had a galley kitchen, and I wanted to light it on fire on a daily basis.
How small was it?
It was tiny, and I couldn't open
Like
up a
Toronto
drawer with
condo
somebody.
small?
No, it was in Waterdown. It was, like a back split.
Probably
but
bigger than mine now.
no, it was not. So for functionality, what I mean is, for me, I'm talking about my space. My dining room is separate from my kitchen living area. And what separates it is a beverage station and our pantry. Like you, I actually prefer that it's separated, my dining room. We don't use it all the time. It's a pretty room until we're hosting, right? So I do, but I cook a lot. I have a lot of stuff in our kitchen. And for me, I rather sacrifice having a bigger kitchen that's open concept for functionality for me, who's using that space all the time, than have it enclosed and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it just depends on what space you want open concept. Like I wouldn't want my bathroom is separated from my bedroom. I personally wouldn't want my bathroom an open concept with my bedroom. I wouldn't want me sitting on the toilet, let's make it sound fancy, where, your husband's laying in bed and everything's open concept.
The job I looked at that was exactly
Yeah.
like
You
that.
had clients ask you for an open concept master ensuite?
I have clients that want to get rid of it. Like I've seen that, and they're like, in Ancaster there, it was all open. So it's literally you're sitting on the bed.
And you can see your partner.
No, that makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all. It must have been a rental.
Open concept for the closet area attached to the bedroom, but not the bathroom. The bathroom still needs to be...
That's what I mean.
I
so
agree.
there's a time and a place, I think, for having that separation. For me, I'm just talking from my point of view, just because, again, we do entertain a lot. I do love the fact that my family room and kitchen are open concept. When COVID hit, my husband's always in his man cave outside. We have a back deck. He has a fireplace out there, TV. What did we do? We enclosed it with glass windows. He lives and breathes out there. I make jokes where I'm just going to import a porta potty out there and build a closet. But it's all our neighbors come over and watch football. It's a separate space that we've built that is separate, like you said, where it's not.
Space.
Oh my god!
Time I see you
Oh my god!
It just makes sense.
He wants to be buried out there, I'm sure.
I think that the open concept is just a trendy thing to say.
Yeah.
But the clients don't really understand what's involved in it. And then
Yeah.
they'll discover it later on. That's the problem.
And for
by
certain
then, you remove
rooms-
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for certain rooms, I think it is key. If you are entertainers, you do want a bigger space. Like I just know how we entertain, and it is nice to have, like I said, now we have the man cave outside where all the men are out there and they're watching football and screaming at the top of their lungs. And all us women are in the kitchen living room. But then there is nice, get like a
That's
time
where the
to
cheese
have.
and wine is, though.
Yeah, the Portuguese
Where else
port
are you
wine,
gonna-
Let me pick your brains, guys. I'm
Yeah.
just curious because you cook, right? Gas or induction?
Gas.
I love gas.
That's all. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I'm a gas person.
And
I'm a
everybody's
gas
again,
person.
like everybody, really? It's
Wood burning
dangerous.
fireplace, gas fireplace.
Okay. So this is where I start to shift because even my barbecue, to be honest,
I'm
being
going
European,
gas on this
charcoal is the best, right? For me, like for the flavor and all of that kind of stuff.
How
Yeah,
else
we
you
go.
gonna
No,
cook
fireplace,
food,
fireplace.
No, I
Not
know, but that's
barbecue.
where I'm going. But
Oh, okay.
yet, I find the smell of the wood I would love, but not on a daily basis. I don't want my.
Once you start it, it'll be
Yeah.
there and it'll stay for the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. I mean,
We have a gas fireplace. We've turned it on maybe twice in the whole time that we've lived there. We
I'm
just
a
don't
wood-
use
I'll always
it.
be a wood.
I
You'll be a
figured you
wood.
would be. And I love wood too. If I'm going to an Airbnb in Muskoka, I'll go outside, chop the wood. But on a day-to-day basis.
Too many nanny cams in there. Would you guys do a downdraft or a hood?
Hood. Downdrafts just don't work as good. I mean, but if you cook all
agree.
the time, like, I mean, if I'm cooking all the time and I have a big hood, 36-inch stove, if I didn't have that hood,
There'd be problems.
There'd be
And
problems,
it adds
right?
character to a kitchen.
Yeah.
Like the hood is
It's
another
cool, the
piece of
downdraft's
jewelry,
cool, yeah.
right? Like you could make something so unique with that hood where it becomes a focal point above the backsplash, like that concrete one that I was showing you the other day. But yeah, like I think it just depends. Like for me, I prefer the
I
hood.
think the question is all about the island, right? Because anytime that we ever have that situation is when the cooktop or stove is in the island. And they don't want to see
I think it's a big mistake.
to put it in the island. Yeah, well,
Cooking in the island?
yeah, I guess
Again,
it all depends
depending
on the
on
layout.
space,
Yeah,
like-
You're
space
going
and,
to
yeah.
be forced because I guarantee I've done the downdrafts. They don't work as well.
No,
Yeah.
And they're harder to reroute the lines.
and they're a pain in the ass to install.
They're 100%.
I just did a bungalow.
So you're going to put a hood now in the island.
Yeah,
You're
we
gonna have
had
a
to.
coffin over your island.
That's the problem, and that's
Yeah.
why people go with the pop up there. But
But again,
I tell
it's
them, I'm like, don't
space.
do it. You know,
Yeah.
we had a client that says, that I'm not putting a hood at all. I'm like, we can't do that either. You know what I
Well,
mean?
legally you can't.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know.
I mean, that's what I mean. And like, you can't do that, right? They're not going to allow us. And I mean, then don't put it in the island. I don't like, I like a hood. And if it's against the wall, it's easier to install.
I think the island is designed for prep and for presentation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for chilling out and doing whatever you're going to do when
Sure,
you're
sure.
not cooking.
But depending on space, I just finished a project where
yeah.
Julio's,
Yeah,
right? Where there was no other area
It's
to
to put
the
put.
stove?
It's
no
funny
other
you bring
area.
that up
There
because
was a window, 2 small little cabinets. It was a tiny little bungalow, and even though we opened up the space, they opened it up. There was nowhere else that we could put the stove
because the wall
Nowhere
was
else.
gone. And that's why I wanted to talk about that open concept. As soon as you take that wall out, and a lot of
Where do you
clients
park
don't.
the fridge?
Where do you
Or
park
fridges?
anything?
Fridges
Yeah,
was
that's
on a side wall,
that's
right?
the big problem,
But
right?
yeah, I think it all comes down to functionality
Space, yeah.
and space. Would we highly suggest it? No. For me, and the other day I sold it to our clients, I have 2 ovens. I have a huge Wolf one that's in our kitchen. And then I have an additional small oven that's in our island. And it is the best thing I've ever experienced
You
in
have
a
2
kitchen.
ovens?
Yeah. Remember, that's how
Why did you do the second oven?
appetizers, side dishes,
Just
keep stuff warm. And it is the best thing. I would highly
Doesn't
suggest.
Wolf have a warming tray?
It does, but when you're having a big turkey, and like I said, I'm hosting like 25 to 30 people.
Still never been
It's-
invited to any of these.
With or without waterfall?
Yes, it depends. I guess it.
See, I'm on the
depends.
fence on that one
It
because I
depends
like
on
the look
genre.
of it.
Yeah.
But you just killed some opportunity to put something there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think a lot of it comes down to the type of style, like ultra modern. This is where Sonya comes in more than me, but it all depends on the taste and style. When we start to get into really heavy duty stylish kitchens, you're going to lose the functionality somewhere, which sucks.
I agree.
But
So a lot of
it is
people
what
are
it is.
wanting uppers now.
Yeah, we have a client right now.
Uppers.
Yeah,
like
I think uppers are absolutely
do
useless.
you? Oh,
yeah,
no, not in my
I
house.
didn't like.
I
I
use them
found
for
it as a beer.
everything.
The design came
If
out
there's
great.
cups and espresso cups and coffee cups and certain plates that you're constantly using, they don't need to be behind a door. And I get older and it's really hard to do this. You know what I mean? I'd rather just wake up and grab it. So I refuse to. I don't like.
No, we're
you want it, you can
finding-
have it.
Well,
but
the trend
is
is going that way. We're getting more and more clients
because I
we
think
don't
it makes
need
the
uppers.
kitchen feel bigger.
Yeah, it
Because
does.
when you're standing there at the counter, it feels like it's bigger because you got more space, but you're still fitting. The problem is that you'll get clients who will have to keep that stuff always clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dust free.
Yeah.
Matchy, right? The last thing they
Add
want,
two as well.
is dishes that aren't matching, cups that aren't
See,
matching.
I got
like,
OCD, so I don't want to see anything.
Yeah.
I want everything clean.
I use every single cabinet in my kitchen, and if I was to eliminate any, I'd be in big trouble.
Oh yeah.
So-
That's another
Natural or
problem.
man-made stone? I'm a natural.
Yeah, it depends
Of course,
on the
because you like
project.
the wood burning fireplace. I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't care about stains and I don't care about wear and tear. I know Dr. Granite. He can come and fix it
And
if
fix it,
something
yeah.
happens.
I mean, I have to say, I like materials that have the least amount of anything that I need to upkeep. You know what I mean? I don't want any upkeep. So, I mean, I'm going to say I like quartz just because of that. And, I mean, if you would ask me 10 years ago, then I would say granite. But there's so many beautiful quartz now. There's so many different products that look so much like granite. I just don't find, and I tell my clients this, again, it's opinion, right?
Yeah.
I tell my clients, it's like, why would you go granite?
Yeah, we look at
If
why.
you can buy something that looks like granite, that you don't have to seal every year, that you don't have to maintain, right? People are busy now, man. They don't want to do that anymore, and they won't, right? But you said, there's going to be that niche. It's more of a niche client that wants granite.
Well, one
but
of
they
our
know,
last
they
kitchens
know.
wanted granite, and we hadn't done. I'm going to be honest, we
Yeah,
hadn't done
one in 3 years.
Yeah, we hadn't done one in 3 years,
Yeah,
and we kind of sat there and we're like, "You said granite?"
Yeah, and don't get
And
me
they're like,
wrong,
yeah,
man.
and
We
we're
don't
like,
say
okay.
Aware of the weight.
Yeah.
the weight.
It's a lot
Yeah.
more weight, right?
Yeah,
The
no, they
granite?
were aware of it all. They did their research. They knew what they wanted. She had already picked it out. That is one thing she had pre-selected before she
Yeah,
came in.
that's true, yeah.
She said, "I want
wanted
this
the granite.
incorporated in my renovation, and you're
What
going
was
to
the
work
granite?
around it."
Iced,
It's like a
ice something ice,
gray and
gray.
ivory, just like it was
I
beautiful.
don't even think she got it.
That-
through
She didn't
us.
get it through us.
No, because
No.
she
That brings
already.
up a great point. When are we going to get rid of cloud white and chantilly lace? And
We're still doing chantilly lace on our cabinets.
Cloud
but-
white, no.
No, we never do cloud
Chantilly lace.
well,
and
that's the new cloud white.
white. Yeah.
my favorite cabinet color, which we don't use and you probably don't know, is Oxford white. Oxford,
I know of Oxford white.
Oxford white has just a hint of gray. Again, this is Sonia's field, but Chantilly lace is so close. Once you get that close, you have to really.
It's the underlining color with all the
Yeah,
different
see,
types
this is
of
where
lighting
Sonia comes in.
is the last thing I want is a client to be like, when I look at my white cabinets, I see blue. When I look at my cabinets, I see pink. People are OCD and they're going to see sometimes what they believe they're seeing,
But
even
that's
though
the color temperature thing.
it is.
True.
But
True.
that's what I feel that Chantilly lace has always been our safe white, where there's really no underlining color in no type of
What
lighting.
degree of light would ideally, like, what are you talking about, 2700 Kelvin?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, like
you-
it
you-
depends. I find that one is the most neutral white.
You don't know this, but you brought a great point about light. I don't know, about a month ago or so, we had a kitchen where somebody did say that the color of white must be off. And right away, I got
was the
Tony in there.
lighting.
Tony is our electrician. I'm like, go and change all, take out all the LED pot lights, and there's just switch on the back. And he changed the 400K, so he changed it to a different tone. And they came back, and
white.
it was a totally different thing. And I didn't know that. I just I didn't think it was going to make that much of a difference. But you're absolutely right. It made massive
I've done
difference.
built-ins where
Yeah.
you painted it all the same color, obviously, because
Yeah.
there's no
And they
way
look
you-
different.
And
The
but
cabinets
the thing
look
is that
different.
the actual openings are slightly different size-wise.
Yeah.
You're still painting the same thing. You're still putting the exact same light,
Yeah.
same bulb, everything, and it's a different temperature in each one.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And that's
the
what
way
I've-
the lumens bounce.
And that's what I've said to clients. Gray and whites are the two most difficult even black is kind of tricky sometimes too, because then some of them have that smoky where that black almost looks like a charcoal instead of a black, or it's got that blue undertone. But the two that I find, hence why when I do have my swatches out, I have the Benjamin Moore swatches where they can see the underlining tone in the wheel. Because to the visual, if I just put a gray swatch in front of them, they're like, oh, it looks gray. Okay, but look at it beside this gray. Okay, that gray has a little bit of purple. That one has a little bit of
Doesn't
blue.
it just confuse them even more? And
No,
glassy
not for
eyes?
me. Not for me.
Yes.
You guys just confuse these. No, because then they're actually visually.
It's her expertise.
I see a deer that just got struck on the highway, and I see the client looking at the color wheel, and those looks are exactly the same. Right?
But you're like me,
No.
right? That's my part of construction where I used to, when we before Sonya, we had one white. Mm-hmm. We had two. It was cloud white and Chantilly lace, which was white, Oxford white,
And
whatever.
then there was like a
And
point
that was,
decorator's white
and
where
then,
everybody was
yeah,
using
something like decorator's white.
white.
Then when Sonya came in, that's what the stuff that did scare me, which I can hear it in what you're saying too. But I was very surprised. The clients do want to see all the options, and Sonya has the patience for that. We just want to do the job. I get
I'm
it.
not
You know
showing
what I
them
mean?
the options to give the option in a way. Like
You're
I
showing
am,
them the
Well,
I'm
you're
showing them
that's
the
true, too.
reference to
You're
show
telling
them
them,
the
yeah.
underlining color.
Yeah.
To a naked eye, yes, that is a gray. Yes, it looks smoky. Now look at on where it is on the wheel. What underlining tone are you seeing?
Yeah.
As long as you know that underlining blue tone is there, I'm good as long as you're good.
I'd love to give them a hand, like a leaflet. It'd be the size of a phone book. To understand color,
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
Like to understand all these details and to factor them in, right?
But that's why they're hiring us.
That's-
right?
and you
they
know
don't
what?
No, but that's such
understand
it's
it.
like
It's-
nobody passes that test. Like that, they,
Yeah.
you can tell them and explain it to them and get all scientific, and they won't pass the test. Like very few of them will,
Yeah.
right?
You know what I think happens, and again, not that what I thought was ever going to happen when Sonya, came on board with that front end was because you have the contractor, the engineer type person, architect type person, then the interior design type person together, they do listen. So when Sonya says that, it's like, okay, these are all the whites, but you should do this because of this, this, and that, and it makes sense, it's done. But then they go back, and the first thing everything that everybody says is like, I can't believe the amount of detail that goes into this. I never would have thought, and it's left at that most of the time.
Because they're not the professional.
Yeah, exactly. So they are listening. And I mean, we come at them with a professional, we have a, beautiful showroom. We got all the materials. We got the computers. We're not Mickey Mouse. They know what we're saying
But
to
even
them.
the poor boys, when I came on board,
Oh,
Like,
my
I don't
guys,
think-
my guys were like,
they're like, who is this
like
chick?
this. Now our lives are becoming,
now this is going to
sconces
be how,
everywhere.
and it
Sconces.
is. Sconces. It's like Frank's Red Hot Sauce. I put
Puts
that shit everywhere.
And my electricians are like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, and,
like,
and
guys,
to the point
just-
now
it's
where
okay.
they're just like,
I
let me
did-
guess, Marco, you didn't draw it in this
never
time.
did
Scones? Is there
wallpaper for
bloody
10 years.
scones?
Sonya
I love
comes
wallpaper.
in.
I
I love it too now.
We're putting it on ceilings.
What
We
I don't
just
like
did a
is
powder
installing
room where it's on a
wallpaper.
ceiling.
I'm not a fan of installing wallpaper.
But
especially-
Sonya's got a
and
great
I don't
Adrian's
care which
awesome.
wallpaper it is. The pattern is never bang on. Never bang, bang,
No,
bang
not bang,
on.
bang, bang. It
And
depends
will
on the
shift
pattern,
a
yeah.
tiny bit, and you got to fight it. And it's just
Yeah.
like it takes
My-
an artist to pull that off.
My girl is
Yeah.
an artist about murals. She does
It's
even
hard.
city
It's
line.
hard.
Oh, she asked
But
Marco.
I do
She's
like
a magician.
wallpaper. I
Yeah.
like that it's coming back.
Yeah, yeah,
too.
and it brings
Me
so
too.
much character. Like it was hilarious because I wanted to wallpaper my ceiling in my powder room. My husband's like,
What kind of a print?
It was almost like a very slight flower print, but bold enough to make a statement. And my husband's like, no, you're not doing that. I'm like, when's your next road trip? Let me know. Okay. He comes home and the wallpaper's already up. Sucks to be you. You shouldn't have been gone for 4 days.
I think he knows to pick his battles.
Yeah. And he was just, and he thought
What room was this?
my powder room on my main level.
The powder room is the room that you just sacrifice
Do
and
whatever.
try
I know,
ideas, and
I
you can probably
know.
change it over time.
But even this
Yeah.
one couple, it was the same thing with Sulfur, Project Sulfur. And at first he's like, no. And I
yeah.
said, just trust me. And the wife was like, she goes, I want it. I said, here's my compromisation. Let's do peel and stick. They have come so far with peel and stick.
Wallpaper?
Yeah, it is amazing stuff.
You can take it off.
You can take it off, and you don't have to, like, it is, it adheres, it sticks, it does not bubble.
I was very, very
I've never seen
my powder room
but
is
it's actually
now,
high end. It's pretty
it's
good,
high end
yeah.
stuff. My powder room has had the wallpaper on the ceiling for almost 3 years. Peel
How
and
do you
stick.
remove it?
Just comes right off.
Heat. You have to heat up.
Oh, you got to heat it up.
Just a little bit, and then you don't have to scratch at it. You don't have to use, there's so many different tricks of the trade, right? But we're actually using it in built-ins as well.
It's like
at
window
the back.
tint. So
It's
you can still move
amazing.
it. So it's actually easier to install. We've
Are you
never
applying it
installed
with
it.
putting it like spraying liquid, wet?
No.
Yeah, no.
No, she doesn't. No,
does?
there's a certain primer that you need to use.
Yeah,
well,
that
it's
I know.
Adrian that's
we don't.
installing
We
it.
have the girl that does it. I do not want.
But it's
I
we
actually
do it in
shouldn't talk about
built-ins.
wallpaper.
Yeah, we do it in built-ins for character, just to have that little peep in the back. I did one on one project that looked like a chevron tile with gold grout. It looked amazing,
Peel and stick,
amazing.
and it looked like chevron grout.
Yeah,
tile?
yeah, it looked amazing. No, I'm telling you, I'll show you a picture
I
after.
had the
He
same
was
reaction.
shocked.
I was shocked. I was
think even
shocked.
Stevie Wonder would see that. Real, right?
I'm going to convince you otherwise.
Well, you know what?
So-
Here's the thing. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
we're not putting that everywhere, but when the client doesn't want, and I think this is when we use it the most, when the client's not 100% sure
And they don't want to be married
and
to
they
it.
don't want to be married to it, that's when we incorporate. I know.
But then at that point, I'll look to their significant other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand. You got to make a decision at some point.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly. Yeah,
But-
I don't get that.
No, it's been
Did Project Buccelli do that in the?
your uncle's
Yeah,
project
yeah.
and Gatestone. We did it
Was
in
it
the
both peel and
built-ins.
stick?
Yeah, peel and
See,
stick.
I can't tell the difference. But a lot of times we're using it like in the back of a cabinet, so it doesn't matter. So let's just say you have a cabinet, and then we take out the shelves, and then we'll put it on like the back of the cabinet,
Yeah.
or it's got floating shelves on the wall beside the
Sure.
fireplace.
But as a
there's
backsplash in a
there-
kitchen?
No, it wasn't a kitchen. It was a family room. There was floating shelves.
Yeah, no, not
but it
no,
looked
not
like
a
a
Oh.
chevron tile.
no,
panel.
not in a
Wow.
kitchen, not in a kitchen.
No,
That would look
I would
bad.
never do it in a listen.
You said it looks really good. It looks
No,
really authentic.
But there's no
No,
seams
no.
where we're.
That's
You
what
could
the-
tell
that's
it
what the
was
client is gonna
wallpaper.
say. The client is
No,
gonna say, why
wow.
don't we just put that in the backsplash
Okay,
instead
let
of
me
spending all the
let
money?
me backtrack
No,
a little
let me
bit.
back-
I'm just
It was
saying.
in a family
Mamma
room
mia.
behind
We don't use,
floating shelves. You could tell it wasn't a tile. It was a chevron pattern.
But there's no seam.
There was no seam.
We use it where there's no seam.
It was.
Oh, so you're going to end to end.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
And that's usually when we're using.
No, but you were saying that it looks real.
No,
and
no.
that's
What
why
I
said
meant,
Stevie
what I
would be-
meant, like, no, good quality. It was not vinyl.
It's not real. I rather do real.
I
but
just
yeah,
when I go to
but-
the trade shows and I'm talking to people, I
Yeah.
don't like seeing fast track products.
No,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's not
100%.
fast track.
Like, look at this. It
Yeah.
looks exactly like what it's supposed to look
No,
like,
no,
but
no.
it's half the cost. and
No,
you
the
install it
print.
half the time.
Most of the
This is
print
character
It
and
looks like a
print.
wallpaper, right? Like I mean,
It is a wallpaper.
No, but I
And
mean,
some of it's even fabric. Like they even do a grass cloth. That
I think
is
where he's getting at
realistic.
is like if it's like a subway tile, you know, like that
No,
wallpaper.
I would never do
that's
that.
I've
baloney
seen
story.
those on social.
Yeah.
Do I look like I would put
No, I'm
something
just,
like that in
that's what it
somebody's
sounded like. It
home?
sounded like the
No.
client would turn
Sonya.
around and go, listen,
Obviously.
if that's so real looking, let's
No,
put it as a backsplash.
I would
thing.
never.
No,
in a
no,
million
no, no.
years.
Make it starts to curl on the top there.
No,
And
no,
you come by with a
no.
U-stick and just
What I
glue
meant
it,
was the
right?
pattern. The
Well,
pattern was
it's even
unique.
with our kitchens in the same subject where when it comes to under cabinet lighting, right? You know, our under cabinet lighting is built in a specific way. Dan and I sit down, we spend hours trying to figure out how to do things better, right? So under cabinet lighting, we only install one kind where there's puck lights and there's a full box. So the valance is actually a box and the puck lights go in. There's a couple of different ways to do that, but there's no visible wires. There's no peel and stick. There's no, you know, the roll
You
wire.
prefer pucks instead of strips?
I hate strips.
Why?
I hate because you're talking about like the strip in a roll.
No, with the actual aluminum.
Well, that I
panel.
don't. That I don't mind. But then there's no real nice way to hide that panel. You're still going to see the wire. You're still going to see the fixture. So when you look underneath our boxes, for example, it's just puck lights that are drilled into a full light valance, right? So it's very clean looking, right?
no, it's nice.
Yeah,
I
it's
get
nice.
it. I've done it
I don't
before.
mind the look. I just don't. My clients always complain about seeing the ugly fixture when they're sitting at the kitchen table. If there's
Or looking underneath.
But
What
mostly
I don't like about pucks is that I'm seeing pools of light
true.
everywhere in the kitchen.
True.
And I could be on a cobblestone street and those are the lamps. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I want a continuous glow
Yeah.
to illuminate what it's supposed to illuminate.
We go, and I agree with you on that, right? Even in our 3D design program, when I put the lights in, you can see, and it's like, okay.
shine.
So Tony and John that run our electrical department, they'll actually go through with the client and we'll place them. I know it's an extra step, but we do that with everybody.
That makes no...
Yeah.
And I piss off electricians all the time for this. I'm like, I don't care about the light.
Yeah.
I care about where the light is being shined on.
And again, it's
Yeah.
a preference.
Yeah. Oh, and that's what I meant too. Like you don't want
you probably
it
have it
off-center.
balanced and everything.
Balanced
like that.
out. Yeah.
But
yeah,
the problem is that when I look at that,
Yeah.
all I see are the spots
True.
of lights.
True.
And it's distracting to what it's supposed to be lighting. So I care about what's being lit and not the fixture that's lighting.
So you know the sticky strip, the sticky light strip. You can buy it like 1,000 feet of it.
Yeah.
Garbage, right?
Yeah, they're all
like
garbage.
they all fall
Nobody's
off.
designed a perfect one.
There isn't a
The
perfect
crimping
one.
and all this other stuff. There's always fighting. You're looking at tradespeople
Falls down.
that like need to do a manicure after they do this because they've ripped all their fingernails all apart trying to get this all working properly.
Exactly.
And fitting the wires in and all.
And that's why
Someone
we
needs to
don't.
redesign
And that's
that.
why I don't. Yeah, 100%. There is no better option that I can find that I'm not going to get a call back. Because when you're working production, you want to make sure that things you're doing are quality and we're not getting callbacks. When Dan and I first started, somebody just, I just want a cheap under cabinet lighting solution. And back then, you would take on jobs and do things
Look at
that the
that
client
statement alone.
Oh, exactly.
Under lighting
Exactly.
cabinet
So
solution.
we went to Richelieu. We bought 100 linear feet of this wine. This was a long time ago. Bought 100 linear feet of this lighting. This is great. I can just stick it.
It's
And
garbage. We all went through there.
They sent a picture that night. Everything fell down. I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, this is garbage. Easy to install. Super cheap, but it's no good. And that's how the evolution of our valance box. I mean, we didn't invent it, but we made it a standard. You want lighting? This is what it is, right? And if the client goes, I want tubes or, linears, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to say, listen,
Tubes, like fluorescent tubes?
not fluorescent tubes, but I meant more like a linear LED. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I say we can't hide that in a box. You're going to see the wire. We can do it as neat as possible, but you're going to see the
You can do it. It just takes more mill work. That's all it is. Because I had guys do this before for me, where you actually.
So how did they do the box?
They routed
underneath?
the channel and then you're veneering
Oh.
the face of it. So,
Yeah, posing it in.
It
Oh,
no, it takes more effort. That's what I mean. But that's how you hide the wires at that point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then
we
what
can
you
do
see is a
that.
continuous glow through the whole thing. And
That's cool.
That's the purpose of that night light.
Cool. Yeah, that's
Under cabinet lighting is
yeah.
night light.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't care who you are. It's
Yeah.
night light. It's an accent.
It's an action.
Day's
yeah.
done. You're drunk. You're fed. You're sitting watching TV.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of glow to get to the next beer bottle. That's as simple as
Absolutely,
that.
and I love that idea. I mean, I'm always looking at cost-effective solutions. So like our valance
it's more
box,
expensive, for
our
sure.
valance box is the way we design it because we have all our CNC sharp cabinetry. Again, division of zone homes. We do all CNC work. Actually, our programming is tied into the CNC. So once we design the kitchen, it's literally one click of a button, and the program is going right to the.
How fast
to
are you
this-
turning out a kitchen?
2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Super
We're
fast.
currently working on 8 projects at the same time.
No shaker?
No, 23.
Well, I mean like big. I meant
The big ones,
the big ones.
Yeah, we've dusted a lot, and actually, it's a good topic about interest rates changing the size of projects. I mean, we're getting a lot more. Like last year, when we were at the 1.5% interest rate, we were doing a lot. Every job was a main floor. Every job was a complete home renovation. Now we got a 50-50 split. Like we've opened up a bathroom division. Yeah. We've opened up a kitchen, just straight kitchen division. Sharp is now opening the doors because Sharp was exclusively building cabinets for Zone. Now Sharp is open to the public. Actually, we've incorporated Sharp Direct, which is really cool for contractors that are listening, is that essentially they're going to be able to go on our system. We'll give them a password. They'll be able to do estimates and orders online. And essentially when they hit send, it'll go right to our machines. Obviously, they'll pay the deposit. And in 2.5 weeks, we can have their cabinets delivered right to their job sites. That's my next project that I'm working on. That's going to be launched in about I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks now. Yeah, that's going to be a big one. And it's all designed on what made us successful in that aspect, because going to a cabinet company and sitting down with the designer when you're a contractor and you got 5 jobs on the go,
I'm consuming.
you're doing, I want to do it at 12 o'clock at night before I go to bed, because sometimes that's the only time I have to do it. You go on our program, you can use our 3D design program and design it yourself, or just drag and drop. Fully customizable, color, size, depth, height, door style, panels, crown molding, rise, everything's on there. That's going to be a big thing for us, I think,
There's
for sure.
another question for you.
Yeah.
Crown molding. Crown molding on the upper kitchen cabinets. Do they extend throughout the rest of the kitchen? If
I
it's a
say
closed
no.
Kitchen?
Great question.
But hang on a sec. You
call.
have a molding. You have a crown in the rest of the first floor. So you're continuing that same crown.
I would continue it.
So you're continuing
yeah.
the kitchen crown?
You have to.
Or you continuing the home crown?
It depends how open the space is and what
So your
flow.
kitchen and family are one area, and your family's got a built-in. You've got a continuous profile throughout the whole house. Do you continue that same profile into the kitchen, or do you introduce a kitchen profile that continues into the family room?
That's your question. I think it
Now
all
we
should
cue
be
the
the same.
Jeopardy music, and then we wait to see what you
Dun,
say.
dun, dun, dun. It depends.
It's a dilemma, huh?
It is a dilemma, and it depends how you're wanting that area to flow.
So the way I've done
Are
it
you
before
wanting
is
it to flow
I've
more
taken
with-
the home crown and
Right.
went into the kitchen.
Right.
Or up and up over the cabinets?
Yeah.
You can do that.
So we're finding that people are going a lot more minimal with crown, where
Yeah.
it's not
more
even. They're doing
colonial.
the same
Flat stock
Yeah.
now.
Really?
Super
Yeah,
easy
they're
for
really
us,
starting to minimize. People are finally becoming realistic. Even with our doors, you'll see them pick up physically pick up the door and be like, "No, dust is going to get trapped in there."
Yeah.
They're actually being more practical
doesn't
with
like
the
shaker,
I know
though.
with
And
with
every kitchen is shaker.
upkeep, right?
So they want a flat panel.
So a lot of them are going with flat panels,
Shaker
wrapped,
45.
Shaker 45.
Like just
Shaker
No-
45.
yeah, like nothing harsh edges.
Because
like
dust won't cling to a 45.
I know.
Well, there's no sharp edge. So essentially the thing is, if you're rubbing it, like if you're wiping it down, there's no groove or bevel, like heavy bevel, like a quick bevel where it can get trapped. So with a 45, and that's
Believe
the
it or
that's
not,
the
they are
mentality.
they are saying that.
That's the mentality. That's
right?
what
Vacuum with a bristle.
I
brush on
know.
it,
Hey, I
right?
agree. I mean, I agree. I wish our kitchens, like back right before Sonya joined the team, when Dan and I were going strong, I think we went 2 straight years. And we can do any door you want, right? All our painted doors are HDF, right? I can make any profile on an HDF door. And every kitchen was a Shaker 45.
I almost shed a tear when I went to I won't say their name, a kitchen manufacturer, and they had this massive wall of all the doors that they offer.
Yeah.
And right at the eye level kind of
The
side,
wooden ones?
it was all the shaker options. And they were really proud of the fact that it was a single shaker, bevel shaker, double shaker, triple shaker, all this other shit.
Yeah.
And I was standing there and I'm looking at, it had to have been about 30 or 40
With so
different
much more
options.
character. Yeah.
And I was like, literally glassy eye, me and the deer just hanging out there. Going, why are clients not choosing any of these? Why do they always choose this?
Well, I think a lot of it really has to do, and we sell a lot of kitchens. I think it's because so many kitchens are painted now. And I go back and
So
forth.
you can
with my
refinish it in a few years if you want to change it?
Well, are you talking more about like a wooden door compared to like an HDF door? Or are you talking more of like a raised panel?
Take a guess on what I would like.
Raised panel.
No, I would like a wooden door. I don't care about movement. I don't care about a crack.
So just like a flat wooden door?
Not a flat. Well, you know what though? Yeah, I've been liking like white oak flat panel.
That's nice.
Simple.
That's
clean.
nice, for especially for an actual.
Darker,
People
lighter
are starting
two-tone
to
kitchen.
want the flat panel
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
more.
But you know, like
People are scared. I'm going to tell you. People are scared with going with so much bevel, even on the crown, even on the baseboards, because they feel it's going to date quicker. The simpler it is, they think the more modern it's going to be
We're
for
still
longevity.
building with Toronto step bevel.
I know.
Like that's been around for over
I know,
100 plus
but
years.
ask Marco, you'll feel like when
I like
he even
Hamilton's
brings.
full of step bevel.
Yeah.
every job.
But
Yeah.
even when
5.5
he
step
brings
bevel.
out, you could see that they're just like, no, I just want simple. I don't want to get sick of it. I don't want it
They're
outdating.
like in the all drywall returns
Yeah.
and that crap on the window and the
We're getting that now a lot here. That was
hate that
it was big
Yeah.
in Mississauga, Toronto, but now we're starting to get
They're
that
feeling
here.
that
Yeah.
the simpler it is, the longer it'll be in style and it won't outdate as much.
The concrete aggregates and construction industry is always evolving. With an ever-changing industry, it's crucial to stay up to date on the latest technology and techniques. Come to the Canadian Concrete Expo to keep your skills sharp and upgrade your knowledge to meet the needs of today's market. The Canadian Concrete Expo offers over 40 conference sessions, certification courses, stage presentations, and live large equipment demos, all in one convenient location. February 14th and 15th at the International Centre in Toronto. If you haven't looked it up yet, go to the CanadianConcreteExpo.com and sign up for the newsletter to get special show offers direct to your inbox.
But
I'll go visit them and take out the vacuum and shove the bristle right into the baseboard and damage the drywall and explain to them why I dislike
I
this.
know, but you could tell them till you're blue in the face.
Yeah,
a preference
they
is a
won't care.
preference,
I know.
right? Like a preference for them, what they are thinking that they prefer. Like you said, we are there to give our suggestions, to say, you know,
It's still
we
their
would.
home.
It's still their home. You know,
But you're basing your opinion on how it's going to last, too. Like the function, design, and everything. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
I know.
You know that I see the kids running around here. I see a dog running around here. You know that there's going to be these damages that are going to happen in the next 6 to maybe a year.
But we live in a world now where it's, I'll deal with it when it comes.
I'm surprised you haven't asked
Right?
us if you want tile or hardwood in the kitchen. That's a big thing that we
So
get.
if anybody's listened to the show, I can't stand wood in the kitchen.
I know. I figured you would.
I can't. And the reason I can't is why would you put wood
Yeah.
at the sink or at the stove or at the prep counter where you're constantly dropping knives, you're dropping forks, you're dropping food, and you're
Yeah.
stepping there and you're like walking on crumbs and shit like that.
I agree.
get the whole wood thing coming from the family room, coming from the first floor.
It's a look
I get
thing.
all that. But the thing is, you're going to have those convenience store standing spots. And you're going to have them in the 3 locations in the kitchen. That's why I don't like it. You're going to wear out. It's happened. Like if you put a desk in a bedroom and you put your rolling chair there, what
Yeah.
happens to that floor?
It gets killed. Yeah.
It's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I'm like, it's going to happen how much you use it. Everyone uses a sink. Everyone uses a stove. Everyone uses
Fridge.
a prep
Our
area.
fridge, our filter,
Fridge?
our filter went on the fritz, leaked when we weren't home. And our wood,
Neato.
not only is the stain, not paint, coming off, it's dipping right towards the bottom of our
still
fridge.
wood.
It's still wood.
I don't care if it's got
Yeah.
15,000 coats.
What we
of-
have suggested sometimes to clients is if they're wanting that wood character, the
Please-
tile, the tile that looks like wood. I know, but we also have to find a happy medium where we're
happy
making
medium.
our clients happy.
I would just
right?
tell them, I go, listen, and I've done it, put in wood. And I go, the other thing is they had small children. I go, please, just for my professional opinion, go hand scraped.
Oh, I know.
Because when you wreck it, because you will,
It gives it more character.
yes.
That's
right.
what-
And if you have a little dent or whatever.
And we've
you
suggested
can
that
fill
as
it in.
well.
With a Sharpie. And I'm with you on that. Before I had kids, I went through a journey with this because this is, I mean, you do kitchens, you get this question all the time. Should I do hardwood? Every picture I see online is hardwood. I'm like, yeah, it looks good because you have a continuous flow. Obviously, it's going to look good. Transitions, everybody's worried about transitions, even though we can do a seamless transition, but everybody thinks they're going to have.
First year in construction,
Yeah,
I was
we
doing
learned
transitions
how to do
were
that.
exactly the same.
Exactly.
I was purposely raising the thinner material floor.
Yeah,
So then all you had was one little 1/8 of an inch transition strip to separate the two.
exactly.
But everything was tight, so
Tight.
you were just walking from one to the next.
Walk right through. So I've actually made a mock-up of it and keep it in the office and say, this is what it's going to look. And they're like, okay. And it's done after that. I agree with you. I'm not a huge fan of tile that looks like hardwood. I think that's going out. But sometimes, like Sonya said, what
You
are you
need to
going
find a
You gotta
happy
find a happy
medium.
You
medium.
might as well put hardwood in their master bath then if you want to do that.
And
I've
I'm
seen
just
it.
I'm trying to find a happy medium to make
Yeah.
that client.
And it's all
happy.
about textures and colors at that point. But before
Yeah.
I had kids, to finish that, before I had kids, so back in the beginning of my career, I would never put hardwood in the kitchen at all. Never
'Cause you
have.
knew.
Because you knew. I'm Italian. I put hardwood everywhere or tile everywhere. I
Every
should
time
say.
your nonna throws the
Might
wooden
know it.
spoon, where do you think it's
Should
going to
say half
land?
Portuguese. So sorry, ma. Sorry, ma. Half Portuguese. So tile. I'm like, if that question came up, and then slowly I was getting bombarded by like, we want hardwood in the kitchen. So I stopped being so aggressive, and then I kind of liked it. Looked good, right? Then I had kids.
Never liked it.
Then I had kids, and I'm like, if I had hardwood in my kitchen would be destroyed. I got tile from a front door right to my back door, and then in my living room I have hardwood. I couldn't imagine having hardwood in my kitchen with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old running around with their cars. But you're right. If they do want it, I say go hand scraped, go, something that's rustic.
They want white oak, white plank, flush, not rectified. They want all this crap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fine, don't worry. Just don't call me in 6 months when you start dropping
But that's
everything.
why we're very, very transparent with our clients.
Yeah, as long as you give them the information. you
We
let them
say,
absolutely,
this is why we suggest this.
People
we
forget, though,
understand you
conveniently.
want
know.
this.
We never had this conversation.
Yeah.
I know.
Right?
Type it out.
Yeah, we
You
try
need,
to.
you need a construction court stenographer. That's what you need. Just there, just
Well,
typing away.
Yeah.
unfortunately, my contract went from 1 page 10, 15 years ago. It's
My
like
God.
18 pages. And
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
I even have like when you can call me. Well, you get a text
You have
message
to.
at like 11 o'clock at night, and it puts you in a bad mood. Just put my kid to
Screw
bed.
you.
Wanna sit
That's
down?
why they're calling
And then
me at
it's
1
like-
o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's why.
You're protected on the
Thank you.
contract.
I protected. So I said, you have to call Sonya after. No, and it's like, he puts you in a bad mood. And then, even though it's nothing, but something to them, like a question, and it's on my mind. It's like, there has to be that, but the contract, it got a lot bigger. We had a client the other day, hardwood in the kitchen, spring garden. We're now doing the bathroom, and now it's been 3 years, right? So it was a repeat client. In front of the fridge, the hardwood was worn out. Mm-hmm. And there was no flaking. I think it was some worn. I didn't look at it, to be honest,
Wait,
too
is it
much.
a 3-year-old kitchen?
It's like a maybe 3 years old. Yeah. So anyway, I have a really close relationship with my flooring guy. The reps went out there, and the rep went there and said, I'm sorry, there's been some water damage here. So they're saying it's flaking. So anyway, the long story short of it is, I don't know who's right, who's wrong. It's kind of out of my hands. It's the manufacturer. It was an installation problem, right? But it got us involved, right? Because we have to. Service is service. I have to somehow be involved in it. But unfortunately, luckily enough, she got the floor. But you know how hard it is to change that floor now, and the floor is going to look different.
How are you gonna? That
How?
makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's going to look different again because now this is aged for 3
That's
years.
eggs falling out. That's milk being
Anything.
spilled. That's like it could be anything. It's
Yeah.
liquid, right? And
Yeah.
maybe worst case, the ice line, water line, it
Something.
burst or something. Right?
So we just bought them the floor, and they're like, "Can you install it?" I'm like, "I don't want to take the responsibility because I'm going to have to change your whole floor after this. I would just leave this."
Do you know how many
It wasn't.
clients
It
I've
wasn't
gone-
really bad. It wasn't that bad.
I've gone appliance shopping with, especially recently, that are like, I don't want my water line hooked up on the fridge, because they've heard of these nightmare
I do
stories.
braided. I do braided.
So do
right
you want me to
from there.
disconnect your washer lines as well too?
and I'm just
there's
like,
a way
they
to
don't.
actually do that line
I know,
where it's like it's not going to
but they've
leak.
heard these horror stories, right? Where, well, my friend Joe's friend,
Yeah.
his
Well,
fridge
what did
was
Joe
leaking.
exactly do?
Exactly,
I know.
exactly.
I
There's
know.
ways around that, and I don't think. And plus, like, I don't even think washer units give out the rubber hoses anymore. You have to go buy your own hoses.
Yeah.
And if you're smart, buy braided hoses.
Exactly. I was just going to say,
And
even
same with
to our
dishwasher,
water
like,
lines.
so it's the same thing. Dishwasher can go.
Yeah, braided all
don't
the
know
way.
that.
The
Anything.
problem is when it's that like plastic pipe. I forget the PVC
I
plastic.
never
thing.
run that.
Me
I've
neither.
always
Me neither.
run 1/2 inch to an OD box.
Exactly.
With a shutoff valve there. So
And-
even
and a
if the
braided
fridge
line.
breaks or whatever, and that thing breaks, you have access to pull out the fridge and turn off that.
Turn it
valve.
off.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
what we started doing is actually, so usually the kitchen sink is close, or we're working plumbing anyway. We'll do a manifold under the sink.
Oh, that's nice.
So
I
we
like
do,
that.
yeah. So we'll turn. It'll have the manifold for the dishwasher, the fridge, everything. It's all mapped out
like
for the
that.
client. Yeah, and it's a braided line from that manifold, just like you would install a dishwasher under the toe kick or wherever, somewhere where it's depending. Right to the back of the fridge, and then it can connect with a 1/4 inch braided line, right? So we get like 60-inch hoses because I think you can only get 72, I think is the max, and then we'll connect them with like a 1/4 inch coupling.
But you
or
can
whatever.
still, I like the manifold idea where you put it under. So if there's ever an emergency for the dishwasher or the fridge,
Yeah.
And
open
turn
up
it
the
off.
base cabinet
'Cause,
of the sink and turn them all off.
My wife's not going to pull the fridge out.
No, it's
You
true.
know,
That's a good point.
I'm at work.
That's actually a better
it's
idea.
just,
No, I
it's like how
that.
you gonna pull? I have a trouble pulling the fridge out, So yeah, so we started doing that. Those little things, like even having the in-house electricians, in-house plumbers, makes it a little different. You can pay a little bit more attention to those details. Like we label all our clients' panels.
Oh, you have to. That's
Yeah,
the standard
it's
now.
standard, right? But even if we're working in the bathroom upstairs, We bill them an hour or two, but we'll do it, right? And they'll use the the label machine, and then they'll come home, and those little things stand out more than they'll come look at the panels like, what the heck, this is beautiful. Oh yeah, by the way, we labeled your panel. I mean, I tell my guys the biggest things are cleanliness. Yep. How you leave a project at the end of your day, politeness,
listening
your vehicles.
To Sonya.
Well, listening to Sonya.
Listening to Sonya. I know we've been talking a lot about design. But when you guys are talking to your clients, what's the split here? Because I know most clients don't really want to talk about construction.
We honestly
talk to us about that LVL. I really want to know about that LVL there.
No,
I'm bad. I talk a lot about.
But is it more like I'm thinking 70-30, 70 design conversation, 30 construction conversation?
It depends on the person.
Yeah, it depends
on the person. I have clients
fascinated by the structural components.
I think
some of them are
because of Google and because of that magic
Some of them
word,
are coming in doing a lot of research where we kind of just look at each other. We're like,
so are you using an LVL?
They kind of know their stuff. They've been looking up.
They know something,
but some
they
not
know
all,
some terminology.
Not all, but it depends.
They know how to get on the boat, just don't know how to get off.
And again, in our group chats with our projects, there are times where I don't even respond because what they're actually asking is something that Marco's going to take care of. And then there's other times where he's not responding, where it's simply a design question. But we're still all communicating, and we're still at least all seeing what's kind of being asked, what's being discussed, and all of that kind of stuff.
And that's a big thing that sets us apart too. Having that, all our project managers have trades. So Dan's, he's a cabinet maker by trade. Tony's a master electrician, and goes down the line. So everybody's involved in the project management of all the projects. Yeah. So, we use a system that I kind of put together that keeps everybody in the loop. So if we have 23 projects going on, all the project managers have access to this cloud-based system that every time there's a modification, a change, a client interaction or something that's important to the project, it's updated and everybody knows.
What are you using?
I actually started to use Asana about 3 years ago, which is designed, it's designed more for techies that are building websites. And that's kind of like my backyard mechanic kind of hobby. And you can modify the program. So I've looked at, and this is a show in itself about project management software. I'm going to say I spent years trying to find the perfect one. And I'm very meticulous and OCD. Once I go into something, I go in hard, but it has to be perfect. Mm-hmm. What I liked about Asana, and you kind of have to take your time, you can mold the program the way you want it, the way you need it. So I use it for lots of different things, not even for just accountant, managing sub-trades, project accounting, project management, and it's all in one place. And you can give access to certain team members to only certain sections. Okay. You know what I mean? I yet to see a program that had that all-in-one system, and I tried them all. Yeah. I tried them all, and the one thing is heavy with the accounting, but not good on the estimating. The estimating software we use is not attached, but we do keep track on both. But anyway, everybody's in the same umbrella. Everybody knows what's going on. So when Tony gets to a job now 3/4 of the way in, it's like he's been there the whole time. So the client will ask those questions to answer your question. They'll ask a question and they have documentation of what was said, what was done, where it came from, what's next. But most of it is like what's happening in essence, how long until this project's done. That's most questions that you're going to get on a daily basis.
How realistic are the budgets these days? The client's budgets versus real budgets.
More now than it was 5 years ago.
Yes, it's getting better. I think during COVID, when the prices went up astronomically, especially in lumber, they started to see shit got real. Yeah. And that prices had increased. Even lighting, like you would be able to go to Home Depot years ago and get a $50 light fixture. Try doing that now. No. You can't. So they are becoming more realistic in that. Do we still have men, women, tradespeople in our industry, especially contractors, that aren't being forthright and realistic with their clients? Yes. And that's where it makes our job challenging, because we've had people come to us having their third, fourth quote. They're like, oh, some guy came here and he said he can do my kitchen for 10 grand. Okay, so how did he know what type of cabinets he was quoting on? How did he know what type of countertops? Is that including plumbing? Is that including painting, electrical work, drywall? Yeah. Well, he didn't say that because it doesn't include any of it. And that...
What does it include for $10,000?
His labor,
the design, no.
Maybe his labor. But that's what I mean. You still have that... We still have some cracks through our industry where there aren't people being realistic because they are a subcontractor where they're subcontracting every trade.
Sometimes they don't know.
And they don't know. They don't know. And that's them assuming that the client's going to go to Home Depot or Rona and order the cabinets and order the tiles and do all of that kind of stuff where the client is watching HGTV and thinking, no, I want that all-inclusive service. Are you not getting me the cabinets? Are you not getting me the tiles?
Not for $10,000.
No, and it goes back to your point about talking tech to the clients, right? I mean, that tech is important sometimes. Like when you're doing a kitchen that's 30 years old and you're redoing the whole, redoing the whole layout, you're changing the whole kitchen, you're moving appliances. For electrical, for example, you already know that we got to get into the panel. We got to get some home runs back there. This is an average guy that just does cabinetry, doesn't know and doesn't care, right?
Or some that try to do it all. Right?
Well,
like I had a friend who had they're good friends of ours.
You want to tell this online?
No, it's not a bad story. So I had just started working with Marco. Friends of ours approached us. They had an emergency leak in their bathroom, needed to renovate it ASAP in their primary ensuite. No problem. Marco was too busy. A few other companies that I trust were too busy. Family friend comes in, of course, jack of all trades. No, he said he's going to do the electrical. He's going to do the plumbing. He's going to do... If you saw what I saw when I went in one day, the tiles and how everything... I knew things weren't done properly. And she finally looked at me and I kept telling her, you need to be realistic. I'm telling you, this is going very, very wrong. Very quickly.
Was she not aware that it was being done?
She wasn't.
We quoted
until it was too late.
Job, didn't
until
we?
it was until it was too late. And then finally she called me and it honestly was the worst job I've ever seen in my life. And I said to her,
you quoted it, Marco?
No, he did quote it originally.
I did quote it and it came down to cost.
No, it wasn't. It was timeline. It wasn't the cost.
Timeline?
It was timeline.
I think it was maybe a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Because obviously that guy was cheaper than me.
Well, for various reasons. So
how much was it the second
she called
time?
me, sent me pictures. I said, I'm on my way. I went right away, dropped what I was doing, sat her down. I said, this is what's going to happen. You're going to ask him to collect his tools and leave the premises. This is what you're going to do. Let me fix this. Problem with fixing it is we had to deconstruct everything that he did, right? Which the renovation ended up being more. Had a friend of mine that does work. He did an amazing job the way it was done. But it broke my heart for her to see how poorly things were done only when they were being deconstructed.
It was bad.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So you don't really realize it when some pretty tiles up and, the vanity I had ordered.
So in that situation, who do you blame? Because I blame the client. They didn't hire the right person.
Yeah. Well, she
They hired
had
the budget.
No, it was a family friend, right? So that's the problem. She trusted this family friend in order to know that this family friend obviously maybe knew his work without ever visibly seeing his work. And it was a lesson learned. Trust me, every little thing. She even just contacted me recently. It's Sonya. I need this. It's in your hands.
And so she's willing to pay the right price.
Absolutely.
Okay, because then she learned her lesson.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You learn, but I have never, ever seen. And then another friend of mine just recently got a renovation done. No, he does everything. I'm like, okay, great. I know where it's headed.
Keep pointing the fingers at these contractors, and the thing
it's also the people that are hiring them.
Yeah. Yes.
They wouldn't be around unless people were trying to cut corners.
The numbers
and that's
attractive to them.
Yeah.
Well, Manny, how many jobs have you done or been a part of where you're coming in after
the fact
never,
to fix?
I've never taken one.
I've never taken one either.
I refuse to do it.
But you've probably seen them, right? Where
I've even refused a restoration job where there was a flood. I had a client. I did an immaculate basement in Toronto, 600 square feet. Did so much work. Opened up Boulder. It was a stone foundation. I did a lot of work. It was one of my earlier jobs I ever did.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it was like a year or two later, I get a phone call. We've got an inch of water in the basement.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And they're like, do you think our hot water tank has exploded? And I was like, there's no way a hot water tank is going to fill up 600 square feet of an inch of water. That water source is coming from somewhere else.
Somewhere else, yeah.
So then all of a sudden they started investigating, but for some reason I was at fault or whatever. And I'm like, it's not my fault. Then they quickly discovered that the homeowner, she left the hose on in the window well after I was educating them at the start of the job saying your foundation has no waterproofing and you should be cautious of this. And what's it cost? Well, we have to dig out the hole outside. You're looking at about $20,000 to $30,000. So they never did that.
Yeah.
Left the hose on in the window well. Water came down and that water was pouring, like draining from the hose all day long.
Wonder if you did that on purpose.
They did the insurance claim and everything like that, and then
Yeah,
they asked
yeah.
me if I was interested in doing it. I was like, no, I'm not.
No,
interested.
because you were shady. And you know what? When you're in the industry for a long time, and I can tell that you can read through the bullshit.
I watch HGTV.
There you go, right? I mean, you can really read through the people's.
Well, all you can do is
games.
what you guys do is educate the client
Yeah.
on good, better,
Exactly.
best.
And it's at the
And
end.
then highlight a little bit of the worst. If you want to go down this path, then go down that fourth option. But we don't recommend that. We're giving you options for good, better, and then we're giving you like the world's
But like I
worst.
said
and
at the
put it on
beginning,
paper. Put it on paper.
Yeah. And like I said at the beginning, choosing your clients wisely and stapling your name to something you're going to be proud of and being adamant. And I'm sorry that you want that. This is why I've told you shouldn't do that, but I think you should go elsewhere because I'm not going to staple
It's
my
hard.
name
Like
to that.
I mean,
It
I
is
don't
hard.
want to
You
act
gotta
like a
tell
tough
clients
guy.
no, like
It's
whether
hard.
you
It's
wanna
hard
do it
though.
now
I
for
know.
it and wait, or if you want to do it now and potentially hire
I'll
the
say
wrong
that.
person.
I'll say that. I'll say, listen, you know what? It's probably not a good idea. Like I've had a
What
client.
do we call them? Lipstick on a pig.
Lipstick on a pig, or
Jobs,
or
right?
you'll get like some younger clients that will come in and they really want a kitchen renovation, right? And you know they went on HGTV and somebody did it. Somebody did like a tune-up, and they want me to like reface cabinets that are falling apart. And I'm like, listen, just wait a couple years, save a little money, do it right. That's how I say no. But you know, when I started at 19, I was begging for work. There was no internet, so I was going to the Spectator and putting in $500
That's how we all
ads with
start,
my
though.
last $500, right? So it's hard for me when somebody comes to my door to turn them away. And I think that's what kind of molded the company into a hybrid of large, but we'll still do small work. I don't like saying no, but I am also very good and became very good at saying what
no.
you said, where it's like, hey, you know, you shouldn't do this right now. I'm not a financial advisor, but you shouldn't do this, or this job is what you're looking for. And I'll take the time. And that's the thing that clients will say. If they say anything about me, I will take the time to talk to them tech
And explain.
over-explain.
If their line of credit and their credit score is dictating the construction budget, you say no.
Yeah,
That's as simple as that.
And that
because that's not how you calculate your numbers.
exactly.
No.
Yeah.
So
How
they
much
shouldn't
can
be
I get from
calculating
the
those
bank?
numbers, right?
And never would I want, like, hence why I was, after my situation in meeting Marco, I was so cautious even meeting with Marco. I'm like, okay, is this just another guy who's who's a, you know, contractor but subcontracts out, and that's the way they make their living. That's not what I mean in a negative way. But also I've worked with people that then take all the credit that what I've done. Don't even tag me, and that insults
not
me.
cool,
The first thing I said to him, if we're going to work together, we're going to hire my photographer. We're going to split it down the middle because I want your work and my work to showcase us and what we do and how much pride and love we put into our work. That's number one. Number two, we're not going to sacrifice our work just to make other people happy. We have to know our boundaries and we have to know what's reflecting on us and who we want to work with and the teams that we build around. Because again, that's a reflection of who we are and how much passion we have for the business. I don't want to deal with shysters. I've been down that road where they don't give credit. And I said to him, from here on in, moving forward, if we're working together full time as a team, as partners, everybody that worked on that project's tagged. Painters, mind you, everybody's in-house and none of them want to be tagged. Like our tile guy's
Wow.
amazing, Liam, and
There's
every
so
time
many
I'm saying to
companies,
him,
yeah.
But I mean, even the other companies, like our glass company, our countertop companies, we are even when I purchase stuff, I have a great corporation deal with the brick. I'm tagging every person that was added to that renovation deserves credit. Because that renovation wouldn't look like that, even if it wasn't for my dollar store little plants that I got as fillers.
Well, there's
like
some subs that don't even have Instagram.
Yeah,
still,
like
right?
some of them
Well, they
don't.
don't care about it. And
They
I-
don't.
I'm envious of them because
Yeah.
it's not that important sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
where I
too,
say to
like-
him, that's our advertising. Back then, it was the yellow pages. It was. It's a different era
It's a
that
good
we
and-
live
good
in.
and bad thing. Like a lot of my day now is like, I used to be on the tools every day. And up until I think it was like 5-6 years ago is where everybody goes through that transition where it's like, I need to make a decision. Every day that I spend on the tools, the business, that's one day, that we're losing and what it could be. And what happened is I broke my hand and I had no choice. That was the best thing that ever happened to me.
The case.
We went from having 5-6 guys, and I was the ringleader that worked all day with them, then all night on the computer in the office. But then I broke my hand, and I had no choice. And I spent that year that I was pretty much not able to work, the business went, 3 times the size that it was. And then from there,
focus on the business.
because I focused on the business. And if I didn't break my hand, probably I wouldn't be here
tell the
today.
guys all the time to do that. We
Break
gotta
your
wrap-
hand.
we gotta
Break your
wrap
hand.
No, not break your hand. It's just you got to pump the brakes and understand the business side of it. That's why I'm starting to lean
huge.
towards 60-40.
It's huge, yeah.
Right. So we got to wrap it up. I got to do the 10 questions with you guys.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
Marco and Sonya here, Zone 2Z's Homes Inc. And it's zonehomes.ca and it's 905-906-9152. Marco at zonehomes.ca and then Victoria Sonya at yahoo.ca. And then Instagram is Sonya_Gilmour_DTPD. And then Zones with 2Z's Homes Inc. on Instagram there and then Facebook as well. Cool.
Awesome.
Ready for this, guys?
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, let's rock.
What everyday sound brings you joy?
Everyday sound, my coffee maker. it's a lovely sound every morning.
You know what? The birds chirping.
What's your favorite beverage?
Oh, man.
Sangria for me. Had lots of it in my life.
Negroni.
What's your least favorite tool?
My least favorite tool. I love tools so much.
Doesn't have to be construction tool.
Is an iron considered a tool? Hate it. Hate everything about it.
An iron? You prefer steamer?
Yes. I'm a steam
I
girl.
think they make more sense in my opinion.
Vacuum cleaners.
Vacuum cleaners? What turns you guys on creatively?
Not HGTV. No.
Stop. A client telling me, I trust you. Let me see what you got. That gives me so much joy because I feel then I can really they can say no, we can compromise in between, but them just allowing me to put my creative juices into it.
I think like seeing a plan come together, like a project when it's done and you do that final walkthrough makes me want to do more. So it makes me more creative. Like you see your finish line, you can see things that you can do better and you can't wait to get to another one. So I think that's my mojo to move forward. Yeah.
What word or concept is overused these days?
The word or concept that's overused. These questions are hard, man.
What are all the cool kids thinking and saying and sharing?
Oh, I don't know.
Bro.
Bro.
Bro?
Bro.
Bra.
Both. My daughter's friend was saying bra every 2
B-R-A-H,
seconds. And
bra.
I'm like, does she have one on? I have mine on. I'm like, I don't understand what she means.
See, my kids are too young, so I mean, I don't really have one that
They're
pops
too
in my
young
head
yet.
because I'm like working all the time, and I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't really know everything that I am involved in 24 hours a day. I love, so I don't know.
There's nothing that's overused?
Nothing that's overused.
Like
I
in
mean,
renovation lingo, you mean?
Anything.
Nothing that's overused.
LVT.
Oh yeah.
Now it's LVP.
LVT, LVP. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Favorite curse word?
Oh.
We're allowed to swear on
we
this?
swear like truckers at work. I'm the only girl with how many men? Yeah. I say the F word quite a bit.
Mortadella.
Mortadella.
Yeah, it's not really a curse word,
Not a
but I
curse
mean it
word.
in a bad
I guess
way.
it could sound like a curse
Yeah,
word.
yeah. Well,
Like he'll say
people
you're being a mortadella,
mortadella.
which I don't even understand what that
Spicy or
means.
not? Spicy.
Spicy mortadella.
Bad. It's moldy. It's tasty.
Obviously, it's fuck, but because I use that the most, but I didn't want to say it. But yeah,
What's your favorite vehicle? Anything in the world?
Maserati.
I love the G-Wagon.
Yeah.
Love my G-Wagon.
What do you guys miss from your childhood?
Simplicity. The little family gatherings every Sunday and everything was closed, and the simplicity of life. Going to your
Remember
aunt.
when things were closed on Sundays?
Yeah. That's how old
That's
I
a
am.
good one. I miss that. I miss that Sunday was a shutdown day.
It was a shutdown day for everybody except for you to go to church and not fall asleep while your mom's like about to slap you in the backside of your head.
In church.
But honestly, like just even gatherings of family. Now you can't do that. It's hockey, it's basketball, it's tournaments, it's everything's on Sunday. You don't even have those, like sadly, you're seeing the majority of your family when somebody's passed away or weddings or something big.
Yeah, get-togethers.
Like it was an
yeah.
every weekend thing. I
Well,
miss
for the men, it's usually the same suit anyway, right? So
Yeah, like I miss that one day being closed. I really do.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
gave everybody that. Everybody.
We try in our
equally.
family to do that Saturday dinner or Sunday with our parents still. Like we're still old school, but the extended family, that's what I miss the most. It's not
doesn't happen. anymore.
cousins getting together as much. It's not like it used to be. It's like they're friends now before they were family, you know? It's kind
Or
of
maybe they just follow everybody on social media so they know what's
That
what's
too.
Well,
Yeah.
that's also it as well, right?
If you could master a skill outside of your own, what would it be?
master a skill outside of my own. Coding.
Coding,
Yeah.
Coding.
Yeah.
computer coding,
Yeah.
software coding.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could use that. That would save me a lot of money.
I don't know.
Oh, golf.
Golf. That too. Coding and golf.
Coding and golf.
He's gonna
Coding
build a
and
golf
golf. Are you
just good at everything?
Golf
Well, it's
simulator.
hard. It's hard being this perfect, Marco. No, I honestly don't know.
You don't know what you want to...
I've worn so many different hats, right? Like work-wise and
Did you
Hat
do
maker.
yeah, hat maker. I'll be a hat maker.
Hat maker.
It's hard when you're asked questions on the spot, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, I
damn
sent these
it.
to you
That was a
guys.
hard
You
one.
did?
Oh, I
sent
didn't
these
get
to you
that.
guys. I sent it to you.
You did?
See, he was
Pretty sure
holding
I
out.
did.
That's why I made him sing. See?
Oh, jeez.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you guys like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
You did good.
That's what I was just going to say.
You can still say it.
You did good.
You did
You
good.
did good, and
You
you
made-
were a good
you-
dad.
Yeah, you
That's
lived
my
a life
most
I'm
important thing.
proud of. That's all I
Yeah,
want in life.
yeah.
I want my life to,
Yeah.
especially for my daughter, a life that she would be proud of for me.
Awesome.
That's an easy one.
Good to meet you guys. Thanks so much
Same
Great to
here.
know you.
talking shop with us.
It was
It's
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Everyone knows
awesome.
to get a hold of you guys, and we'll put all the notes there so everyone knows.
Perfect.
That's it. But thank you very much.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.
That's it. We're out of here.
Thank you.
Angelina.